particularly with the bat, that bat's down to 11, and we've sent the right options with the ball, so really we've got everything covered. It's just a matter of getting more guys playing well on the same night, and having more guys play better than their position. Sounds simple, not easy to do, but that's realistically where we're at. We know if we can get our players firing all at the same time, we'll be absolutely fine.
And really a bit of an edge to go to these games, obviously. They've got absolutely been picked last season semi-final. Look at that player. They're a really good side. They've got some very, very strong batters, and with Bernard James in, missed the blast. They're going to be a good challenge.
Yeah, actually I was strong in this form. You know, we were finals there over the last few years, so it's always a challenge. Yeah, last time out we managed to get a win over them, so hopefully we can take that into Thursday. But we were really wrong with that on ball. And as I say, we've got to probably, power plays are going to be key probably against Hampshire with bat and ball. We've got to probably try and, you know, win that kind of battle in both areas.
And then what about obviously the arch rivals, battling the game, who've always got that kind of extra edge to it?
Yeah, I think more from the supporters. You know, I think we always have good games against Kent. It's a bit to and fro, but they're normally exciting and countless. So they play a similar way, particularly with the bat. They go after it from ball one as we do. So yeah, we're looking forward to another local derby. We don't get much support down there apart from the Essex fans we normally get.
Well, good evening to you. If you're just joining us here at the Cloud County Ground, glad to see somebody's evaded the A12 problems this evening. Now, today is a very special day because it is a very special milestone for our captain, Simon Harmer. He becomes just the 7th Essex player to play 100 T20 games. And I know there is going to be a cap presentation going on now. Mags, if you'd like to do the honours. Congratulations, Harmy.
Mag, two big games coming up, two more back-to-back. How are we feeling ahead of Hampshire at home and then the Battle of the Bridge away on Friday?
Yeah, kind of rounds off this block of games before Championship starts again. So 3 wins from 3, obviously we'd like 6, but I think sitting 4th in the table, I think it's important we try and win, obviously, these 2 games. Starting at home against Hampshire, obviously disappointing last time out, but that can be the nature of T20 cricket. So we have Harmy back, our captain, which is good news. And the lads are wanting to, put on a show on Thursday night and hopefully finish it off at Kent on Friday.
If we're talking about our form, like you said, it was disappointing on Friday night, but T20 is often seen as just being on the day. Is it easy to put that one to one side? That was an off day, move on, got another opportunity now? Yeah,
you've got to do. I mean, momentum's massive in T20, and when you get on a run, you've got to try and win as many as you can. We managed 3 on the belt and we lost 1, so hopefully we can start again. So that starts again on Thursday. We know they come thick and fast, so you've not really a lot of time to review and dwell on it too much. And similarly, when you win, you can't rest on your laurels either. So stay pretty even as we always do. It's just about us, really. We know if we bring our best game, we're a match for most teams, and that's what we've got to really concentrate on first on Thursday and then Friday down at Kent.
And plenty of our players have brought their best games. Obviously, even in defeat, we saw Michael Pepper get another 50. Dean Elgar's doing really well in the T20. Is it really good to see those sort of players putting in those performances?
Yeah, I think through a 14 group stage, players normally, 3-4 performances each, so they've started really well. We've seen glimpses of Jordan Cox. Some of the other guys haven't got going yet, but that's the nature of T20 cricket. So we've got a lineup, particularly with the bat, that bat's down to 11.
So just to give you a heads up, 10 minutes now until the coin toss.
It's just a matter
we'll
of
be having a chat
more guys
with the
well
two skippers out on the square.
And having more guys play better than
Before
the opposition.
we got things underway this afternoon, I got
to do, but that's
the thoughts of both camps.
We know if we can get our players firing all at the same
Quick
time,
now
we'll
with Hampshire, Michael Nisa.
There was a bit of an edge to both of these games.
Before him, firstly, our very own Adam Rossington.
Let's look at that Spur. They're a really good side. They've got some very, very strong batters. Ben McDermott, James Vince, seen as Mr. Blast. They're going to be a good challenge.
Yeah, Hampshire are always strong in this form. You know, regularly at finals day over the last few years, so it's always a challenge. Yeah, last time out we managed to get the wood over them, so hopefully we can take that into Thursday. But we're wary of them. We bat on ball, and as I say, we've got to probably. Power plays are going to be key probably against Hampshire with bat and ball, and we've got to probably try and win that kind of battle in both areas. And then what about Kent? Obviously they're seen as the arch rival, battle of the Bridge. There's always got that kind of extra edge to it. Yeah, I think more from the supporters. I think we always have good games against Kent. It's a bit to and fro, but they're normally exciting encounters. So they play a similar way, particularly with the bat. They go after it from ball one as we do. So yeah, we're looking forward to another local derby. We don't get much support down there apart from the Essex fans. We normally get booed if we hit 4s and 6s, but we expect that because we know, Chelmsford here, the crowd get right behind us. So it can be a little bit intimidating, but we've been down there many times and got a result. So hopefully we can do that on Friday night as well. Just to round it out, it's always about us. We're always focusing on ourselves, and whatever anybody else does is their business. But like you said, if we play our best, we can win games. Yeah, and that is how we go about it in all forms of cricket. We respect the opposition, of course, and we know what skill level they have, but it's all about us, and we know if we focus on us, get our lads firing, playing to our potential, then we've proven over the last few years in every comp, if we get that right, we normally come out on top. So that's all our focus goes.
Delighted to be joined by Adam Rossington now ahead of this game. Rosso, last week we saw the flip side of the professional coin with a good win, albeit under restricted circumstances at Lord's, and then that game here against Sussex. How do you cope with it mentally, physically? I know you've had the best part of a week off afterwards. But what the challenge must be to ride it off, I guess, is it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's part and parcel of T20 cricket. Sometimes you're not at your best, and we certainly weren't the other day, and we got played off the park. Like I said, we've had a bit of time off now, had a good time to get some training in, and hopefully we can bounce back tonight. And
coincidentally, and it was a coincidence, you had the armband on, so you must have really been trying to work out how to rein in those batters, because certainly, I know, in our innings, we had such a good start, and then, 3 wickets in 5 balls, and it was a different game. But in their innings, it just kept going and going and going. There seemed to be no way of breaking them.
Yeah, I think we left a few runs out there with the bat, and then, like I say, we didn't start the best with the ball, and to be fair to them, they did play well. And like you say, it's hard to stop when small ground like this, when someone gets going, it is tricky to stop. But yeah, there's definitely things we could have done differently, and hopefully we can put that right tonight.
So what's the buzz been in the camp this week?
Yeah, it's been good. Like I say, we've had a bit of training and now ready to hit the ground running tonight and tomorrow night.
Against the Hampshire Hawks side, who've come here and, they've shown what it's about. That said, the last time we met them was in the semi-final at Edgbaston. So does that play into the psyche, into the match barometer in this one?
I think it can do sometimes. I think they're a very good side, and like I say, we've just got to worry about ourselves really. If we play to our abilities, then we've no doubt that we can turn them over.
Is it very much a proactive thing? I know Harm is very positive about how to play, but is it a matter of not ignoring the opposition? Of course you can't, but actually just worrying about what you do and making sure what you do is the best.
Yeah, I think you want to be aware of the opposition, but you've also got to play to your strengths, and I think that's our motto, is always take the positive option if you're in doubt.
Playing here on a beautiful day like this is always a positive, and all the Essex players always say it's such a buzz, it's such a pick-me-up. But tonight, particularly, we will have had the England football team, and hopefully they've done put some feel good into it. The crowd is going to play a big part.
Oh, definitely. It's always a brilliant atmosphere to play in front of here, and like you say, hopefully England can get a win and then we can follow suit.
Double trouble. Let's hope. Thanks, Rossa.
Cheers.
Well, delighted to be joined by Michael Neser from the Hampshire squad room. Thanks for sparing us the time.
No worries.
I mean, you've had a bit of a break now, haven't you? I mean, I know the rain affected the last couple of games, but does it feel like a mid-season break within this hamster cage and this hamster roll of the Vitality Blast?
We definitely feel fresh after the 2 rainouts and that little break. It was a pity getting those rainouts because especially the last one, we felt we were on top, and unfortunately you can't predict the weather in this country. No. But yeah, we're fresh and ready to go.
I mean, we've got 2 teams tonight that are in similar positions, both on 6 points, both have had good wins but then had losses. You've obviously had the couple of rainouts as well, so momentum we know is so important, and victory tonight therefore has added value maybe.
100%. You've seen in a lot of competitions, especially momentum to the back end of the tournament is quite important going into those finals. So again, don't want to look too, I know it's a cliche, but you don't want to look too far ahead next game. So it's going to be a cracking game. Both teams are in very similar positions and probably due a win.
I know you weren't involved, but the last time these two met in this comp was of course in the semi-finals.
Yes.
Do the players talk about it? Does it play any part in the lead up to it, or is it totally ignored water under the bridge?
New season, new competition, so I know the boys haven't really been talking about that too much. They've just been looking at this game and what's coming up, so not really, but it's always good knowing in the past you've done well against the team.
I mean, talking the past, it was only 5 months ago you were lifting a trophy with one of our own here.
Yeah.
How did you get on with Tall Paul at Brisbane Heat?
Tall Paul's a great fella. It's going to be weird playing against him because I get along really well with him, but he was great for us. He fit into the team so well. He did fantastic with the ball. Probably his ban went a little bit unrecognised because we know how good of a batter he is. But he definitely played some vital roles for us.
Has there been some banter leading up to this? You've been on the text?
No, not really, to be honest. But I'm sure there will be a bit of banter out on the field.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. We'll be listening very closely to see what it is. I mean, he's almost seemed to have that sort of cult hero status, both on the pitch and off it in Brisbane. Was that the case?
Definitely. You could see a lot of Tall Paul banners out there in Brisbane, so the crowd in Brisbane and even around the country loved him.
And there'll be big banners.
That's it. Well, hopefully we can get him back.
Yeah. Well, he loved it. We know, we've talked to him about it, and he had a great time. So I'm sure we'll be inking that one into his diary. Great to have you with us. Enjoy yourself back at Chelmsford.
Awesome.
It is a day unique in the world cricketing calendar. A day of tension and drama mixed with the chaos and the noise
The square with the coin toss about to take place. Our two umpires today, Ian Blackwell and Anthony Harris. Peter Such, of course, a familiar face around these parts. And the two captains, James Vince from the Hawks and Simon Harmer, of course. So just finishing off the match briefing, and then we will get in and see who is going to win the toss and what they're going to do. Umpire in Blackwell just mentioning that we've got a very short boundary this evening, so all those people over in front of the what was the old hospital stand, make sure you keep your eyes peeled, please, on the game. You're going to be fairly busy, I would think. Harmer's thrown the coin. Essex have won the toss. Let's have a chat with the Centurion. Congratulations, mate. Well, what are you going to do?
We're going to have a bowl. I think it's going to get better to bat on, and hopefully we can cause some carnage up front.
And team news from last week?
Well, I'm back in. Unfortunately, Aaron Beard misses out, and Charlie Allison makes his debut. Very excited for him. Dan Sams misses out.
Okay, congratulations on the century. That must be quite special for you.
Yeah, I think it's something you look back on at the end of your career, not something I'm going to get too carried away with. Hopefully, plenty more to come.
Yeah, we'll look forward to this evening. Go well, Harmy. Now, James Vince has had a ball to the throat, so he's not going to be able to have a chat with me this evening, but I have got their team news for the visitors this evening. So Fletcher Middleton is in for Felix Organ, and Brad Wheel comes in for Liam Dawson. We'll give you the full rundown of that in just a moment. But Essex have won the toss, and we are going to bowl.
It is a day unique in the world cricketing calendar, a day of tension and drama mixed with the chaos and the noise of the Hollies stand. Beautifully timed, really nice. Full toss, 4 more. Oh, might hold up, just slowed up. Should have gone with my original call. 6 flat, a skimmer, the first of finals day, and that was hit with brute force. Now they might get the wicket though, at a deep square. Daniel Sams with the safe hands, a change of pace yet again from Cook. And McDermott has to go.
Catch it!
Could be gone. Is gone. Snater it is again. The Snatermeister.
Wish start. Catch it. Over the top of extra this time. That should race away and will do for 4. Welcome boundary.
Sounded good off the bat, and I think fielder out there was just slightly thrown.
Catch it.
What to do out in the deep. Not able to get it through.
Catch it.
Well, that sounded good off the bat, but it should be taken, and it is on the second chance.
Down the ground, it's short boundary straight. What a beautiful shot from Weatherly. Harmer's done an excellent job. Very, very short straight here at edge. Good shot, really good shot. Shorter boundary. In the air, should be taken. Good take by... Yeah, it's really good bowling from Walter. Conceded a boundary 2 balls previously, stuck to his guns. Length ball, possibly cross seen. Ross Whiteley gets none of it. 50 for Weatherly. His 3rd this season. 6th of his career. Last ball. Into the surface again. Snater underneath it. Taken this time, so a wicket to finish the innings. Weatherly finishes 63 not out. Deep in the crease, and it's coming our way. Good way to finish the over. Last ball. Into the surface again. Snater underneath it. Taken this time, so a wicket to finish the innings. Weatherly finishes 63 not out.
So 171. The target for the Essex Eagles. Performed so admirably in the quarter-final here at Edgbaston to overcome the Birmingham Bears.
Swung away straight to Critch. Sorry. It is Weatherly, not Critchley. Wrong side. Weatherly, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Just a little hand on it, but I don't think it'll be enough to prevent a boundary. It won't. Mid-wicket, and 1 bounce 4. Yeah, I think it's now getting to a point where...
Let's hope there's no more rain, and let's hope that we see a good remainder of this first semi-final. Offside. Oh, missed. Missed by McDermott. Little bit of a floaty in-swinger. Will be 4 byes. Can't bowl there to Dan Lawrence. Such a strong player down the ground. Maximum. Getting pitting through the offside. Oh, missed. Missed by McDermott. Little bit of a floaty in-swinger. Skied again. There's a shout from 3rd. Gets underneath. Takes it. Hampshire needed a wicket. They have a wicket. Go at them. And they have another wicket, and it is the big wicket of Lawrence. 2 in the over. Hampshire, the champions, are hitting back. Close, straight, out. Falling straight. Walter walks across, and Hampshire have their 4th.
Over the top of the keeper, might pick up a boundary and a welcome one. Carved away back at a point, but there is a man at 3rd. It's gone straight through the hands of Turner. Is this it? That'll help. That'll help. Will it? It's gone all the way. Yeah, what a lovely strike that is. He's got big boy power, has Daniel Sams. Impressive. Plenty of that. And long. Lovely strike. This time it's Critchley straight down the ground. Not be half volley length, full. There's that off-pace ball. And down breeze. Is that down breeze, Corky? I'm not sure, but it's 6 anyway. Pace off this time, helped on its way leg side. There's a man there, can't reach it. Goes all the way down. Sams. This over, goes out over, extra cover, gone. Great catch. You said he wasn't shy of a good catch, Alex Tudor. He's done it every over so far. It is slower ball, take a punt, pop it downtown and say thank you very much. That's your punt. Slower ball, punished all the way, that's it. Simon Harmer, the skipper, he takes Essex back to the finals of the Vitality Blast. First time since 2019, and what a great start to Vitality Blast Finals Day here at Edgbaston. Essex get the job done over
the fun and all the games, they all start here with All Stars Cricket. Skills, friendships, smiles, dreams. It all happens here. Every session is all-out action. All invited, even mums and dads. Have fun. Catch, go. All stars with All Stars.
And it's Critchley, hero of the semi-final.
So good from Aaron Beard, direct hit. Got it. Oh, that's so good. And that is a wonderful hat-trick.
Get out of my way. I want them here.
He's a big man with a big bat. Beautiful piece of bowling from Harmer.
It is slower ball. Take it, punt. Pop it downtown. And so thank you very much.
Got for six. Got for six. What a moment. Right in front of the Essex fans down there who are going wild.
Taken. What a catch.
Sams goes for the reverse, flip over the top of the wicketkeeper, and all it does is strike his leg stump.
Oh, he's got all of that though. Don't worry about it.
Whipped away. Fabulous wrists from Jordan Cox, and that's gone all the way for 6.
Catch it!
Chance to catch, that is excellent. Again from the Essex skipper Simon Harmer.
Ingram bowls, and Bakerstein hits it over the bowler's head and away to a long off boundary for 4. What a match! What an innings from young Bakerstein. Hits it for 6 and goes to 101. It's a lovely shot down the ground.
Hammond. Oh, what a catch! What a catch there! Simon Harmer.
Well, that's found the middle of the bat and the fence. Well, Walter has come to get things moving. It's on BBC Solent. Listeners to BBC Essex will be joining us in a couple of moments' time for this simulcast of this T20 Blast action from a sunlit and very warm Chelmsford this evening in the county town, some would say county city these days, of Essex. Big crowd expected in for a game between two sides who I think it is probably fair to say have not got going as yet. Essex with their 3 wins from 3, and Hampshire similarly a little bit inconsistent as well. So two sides, I guess I would say, looking very much to get themselves up and running and put a concerted run of form together to get themselves safely into that top 4 and safely into the quarterfinals of this competition. Welcome to listeners on BBC Essex, just joining us now. And a warm welcome to listeners of BBC Essex, joining myself, Glenn Speller, Kevin James and Dick Davis on BBC Solent tonight for this T20 Blast game between Essex and Hampshire here at Chelmsford. The important news is that Essex have won the toss and they are going to bowl first, and Essex making 2 changes to the team, which got a little bit of a spanking by Sussex here last Friday. The captain, Simon Harmer, he returns in for the injured Daniel Sams, who's got a knee problem, and Charlie Allison, the brother of Ben, comes in to make his T20 Blast debut for Essex, and that's at the expense of Aaron Beard. The Essex side is Adam Rossington, Dean Elgar, Michael Pepper, Jordan Cox, Paul Walter, Matt Critchley, Simon Harmer, Charlie Allison, Shane Snater, Luke Benkenstein and Ben Allison. Kevin James from BBC Solent alongside myself here. And Kevin, a couple of changes for Hampshire tonight as well.
Yes, there is, one enforced and one just a straight swap, and also a player making his T20 debut this evening. That's batter Fletcher Middleton, who comes in for Liam Dawson, who's ill. He's been left back on the South Coast, hoping to recover in time for the South Coast derby tomorrow night at home to Sussex. So Liam Dawson is ill, Fletcher Middleton making his T20 debut, and the other change is Felix Organ, the batter off-spinner. He's been left out, and Brad Wheel, who a week ago was playing for Scotland in the West Indies in the T20 World Cup, will probably find him, well, he's in the side and probably finds the temperatures tonight to his liking. Yeah, it's a lovely evening here in Chelmsford. I mentioned the crowd a few moments ago. They're still pouring in through the entrances. A lot of people have been in the pubs around and about in the city, catching up on the England game. One mention of the Snater, they almost threw that away. Marnus Labuschagne had a big hand in Glamorgan's comeback this evening, so they just about got over the line. Probably tells you about how Essex have been going. They have had a nasty habit of losing wickets in clutches. I think also, wasn't Mason Crane part of that sort of collapse as well? He was on loan from Hampshire as well, and he's had some success here in the past with Hampshire. But yeah, listen, at the end of tonight, both these sides are halfway through the group stages of the competition. It's often said, isn't it? It's not how you start this competition, it's how you finish. And I'm sure both these sides will have had pep talks in the dressing room saying, look, if we both have good second halves of our campaigns, we'll be in the top 4 and we'll be back at finals day, or at least have a chance, because we'll be in the quarterfinals. I mean, Essex, many listeners will know all about finishing strongly. The year they actually won the entire competition, I mean, they had to win a whole bunch of group games right at the end of the group, and
And then they had to go up to Durham to play Lancashire. It's a long story in the quarter-finals as well to get themselves through to finals day. And they needed a lot of results to go their way in the South Group that year as well to get through. So if you could just get a little run of momentum going, it can just take you into the latter stage of the competition in fine fettle. But Essex just haven't looked like the team they have in recent years.
No, well, I mean, obviously the results show that, but it's always fine margins in this. It just takes one over where a batter gets, 16, 17, 18, even 20, and all of a sudden the confidence just absolutely flows through the rest of the team. Equally, as a bowler, you pick up 2 or 3 wickets and you stop the momentum of the opposition, and then they struggle. I mean, there's always twists and turns every few overs. So, listen, we're in for many ups and downs tonight, I'm sure. But I've noticed, I always dread coming here, not just because of the traffic coming here from the south coast, but Hampshire have a pretty good record here. They've won 4 of the last 5. I'm actually quite surprised. But of course, as you know, Glenn, the last time these two sides met was semi-finals at finals day, and Essex won that one.
Simon Harmer, the returning captain for Essex, is going to open the bowling this evening. He will be the first to admit he's not had the happiest of times in this competition this year with the ball in hand, and it is the Hampshire skipper James Vince who's facing up. In comes Harmer for the first ball of the evening, and it's lobbed up by Vince back to Harmer, and it drops, I reckon, about 4 or 5 inches in front of him. Otherwise that was a return catch.
Oh gosh, my heart was in my mouth there for a while. The ball just dropped at the last minute, fortunately. Otherwise it just looped to Harmer.
Essex winning the toss and electing to bowl first. Harmer back into Vince. Vince comes down the wicket, and well, he was trying to hit that straight. There's a slight misfield as it hits the man at backward square leg on the edge of the circle, but there's no run. Again, we are using a used strip here as well. This is the strip that was used for the Sussex game last Friday. Harmer very quickly into his stride again, into Vince. He goes on the back foot and just pushes up to long on, where Michael Pepper, it's been in good form recently with the bat, comes in, and Hampshire up and running 1 without loss.
Yeah, these two haven't really got going in the competition yet, and probably looking for a big score, both of these. You might remember again last year in the Hampshire win here, which was a huge win, 118. Vince hit 103 from 48.
Ben McDermott to receive his first ball of the evening. Still people coming in, finding their seats. Not a cloud in the sky here as Harmer comes into McDermott. That's down the leg side, so that'll be signalled a wide. Umpires this evening, Ian Blackwell and Anthony Harris, and the match referee, Peter Such. Don't snigger, formerly of this this postcode. Here's Harmer into McDermott. That rolls up the pad. There's an appeal for a catch there as it lobs up to Rossington, and they very quickly decide that, yeah, probably didn't hear anything, and there's no run. 1-2 without loss.
He's getting a little bit of bounce, isn't he, from just short of a length here, Harmer. It might make it a little bit difficult for the batters. They might get a little bit too much underneath the ball unless they get close to the pitch.
Harmer into McDermott, yet to get off the mark. Drives up to long on, so he will get off the mark here. McDermott here. Pepper just tidying up once again. 3 without loss. 1 more. That's the end of the over, actually. Oh no, 1 more to come because of the wide.
Is that right? He's playing his 100th T20 for Essex tonight?
Yes, yep. More on that in a couple of moments as Harmer comes into Vince to finish up. This is the extra ball for the wide. Worked into the onside by Vince, and they come through for a single. End of the over, very quiet stuff. And Essex are 4 with Hampshire 4 without loss. Yes, Harmer just collecting his cap. Yes, playing his 100th T20 blast match for Essex. There was a small presentation for the game where he was given a cap and something in an envelope as well. I'm not
suggesting
suggesting that it might be a nice voucher for him to go and buy some nice Tiptree jam, who are one of the sponsors here at Essex.
Of course.
He'd probably like a voucher to go to the butcher's, Simon Harmer, because very famously holds braais regularly at his house, invites the team and everyone involved with the club for a braai, a South African barbecue. He's just directing operations out there at the moment, and it's going to be Shane Snater who opens up from the Graham Gooch end.
Do you know what? When I've seen him play in the T20 this year, I thought he might have been with the Netherlands, because he's played for them. I know he hasn't played recently, but he's too good a player not to be in their side, isn't he? In the World Cup. Anyway, here he is, right arm over, bowling from the Graham Gooch end, Hayes close end, far end as we look, right arm over, keeper standing up, a length ball to Vince, who's very watchfully pushing that out to Harmer at extra cover. Apart from that early shot from Vince, who had a swipe on the leg side, it's almost as if he's looking at the pitch saying, I probably just need to give myself a few balls just to get used to the conditions out there. There is sometimes tennis ball bounce here, isn't there? And I think we're seeing that already.
It's a U strip as well. I mean, both batting sides, the game here against Glamorgan, both batting sides had problems. It was a U strip they used that night as well.
Yeah, so it might be a low-scoring-ish game, what we're seeing at the moment. Turned away on the leg side by Vince. Should be a couple. Goes down towards fine leg. Short boundaries, as we know here. It's fielded just inside the rope and done quite well, actually. And that'll be 2 runs to Vince. Is that Charlie Allison?
I think that might be his brother down there, actually. Ben,
oh, Ben, sorry, Ben, yeah.
Yeah, it's Ben down there. Just had to throw the ball away just a couple of yards in front of him because his right boot was perilously close to that rope. But he manages to stay inside.
6 without loss then, Hampshire in the second over. Here's Snater running towards us and bowls and pulled away, but not timed by Vince. Goes out along the ground towards deep square leg. Actually, I mean, it is such a short boundary. We are quite to the left, actually. We're not in the middle, we're to the left. And that's not much of a hit, is it, away to our left?
No, straight here as well at Chelmsford, particularly hitting down the ground from the end, which Snater is bowling from, is quite short as well here at Chelmsford. And obviously we are playing slightly over to the left, but with the rope brought in front of the members area for the extra seating as well, makes that boundary a little bit shorter than it normally is.
Snater again bowls to McDermott this time. McDermott turns that away again down to Allison at square leg. This is a very quiet start by Hampshire. It was almost as if they're purposely making sure they don't lose too many wickets in the power play, coupled with the fact that there is a bit of bounce out there.
There is, and it's pretty clear as well it's not quite coming onto the bat, which is probably what they were expecting upon inspecting it, knowing it's a used track, knowing it's had plenty of sun on it.
Yeah, not a cloud in the sky. What a beautiful evening it is to be watching some cricket as Snater comes in and bowls, and that's hit over the top of mid-wicket by Vince, and that is 1 bounce for 4. That was a little bit fuller from Snater. It invited the shot.
Well, the umpire signalled 6 there, but my eyes said it was a 1 bounce 4 as well, but the fielder down there at long ons turned around and said, yep, that's a 6. So the rope must be slightly in from the advertising hoardings down at that Graham Gooch end as well. So it's the first boundary of the evening, and it's a maximum as well. As you say, slightly fuller from Snater. I think he might be pulling his length back a little bit now.
Yeah, here he is again then. Keeper still standing up, Adam Rossington. Again, that's worked away on the onside, but along the ground, half stopped at mid-wicket, probably stopped a boundary. That'll be a single to Vince. And that is 2 overs completed here, with Essex winning the toss and electing to bowl first. And Hampshire are 15 without loss.
Just joining us on BBC Essex and BBC Solent, Kevin's gone through a couple of changes for Hampshire, a couple of changes for Essex. Young Charlie Allison's making his T20 Blast debut for Essex. He has played some List A stuff, some 50 over stuff, but there's no Daniel Sams this evening, and the captain Simon Harmer's effectively back in for him, and Charlie Allison replacing Aaron Beard tonight as well. Essex back in action tomorrow night. They make the short trip over the water to face Kent. Paul Walter is going to come on from this Sir Alistair Cook end. Tall Paul, the left arm seamer.
I love that. Tall Paul, love that. Yeah.
Very well known around the world on the franchise circuit these days, particularly in the Big Bash out in Australia. He's become a really popular figure there and shown up well in the 100 too over here.
Played for Brisbane Heat during the winter with Michael Neser as well.
It's going to be bowling to the Hampshire captain, James Vince, who's 12 not out. In comes Walter and bowls, and Vince just pushes defensively out to the offside for no run.
Quite interesting, Simon Harmer playing his 100th T20 game for Essex tonight. Walter's playing his 99th.
Wow. It does just tell you that the cricket just comes so thick and fast, doesn't it?
It does.
Before you know it, you're through 100 games, and
that's without all those other games that he plays for all the other franchises.
Walter again into Vince, and Vince pulling this time, doesn't get anything on it, and it bobbles through to Rossington behind the stumps. Rossington, who skippered the side last Friday in that defeat by Sussex with the absence of Harmer. Kept wicket, opened the batting and captained the side, Adam Rossington, last Friday. Quite a busy evening.
It's been a good addition for you guys, hasn't he?
Good cricketer.
Middlesex and Northants before here.
Really good cricketer.
Settled down well, hasn't he?
In all formats. Really experienced as well. Played in the PSL out in Pakistan.
He's also been part of 80 Birrell's Sunrisers Eastern Cape in the South African T20.
He was just adjusting the field there as well as Walter comes in and bowls that short, and as you say, that tennis ball bounce there, Vince is pulling it down from around about shoulder height down to long leg and picks up a single. Score moves on to 16 without loss. Vince goes to 13.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who masters that out in the middle. I think whichever batters, and it could be a batter or it could be batters plural, then I think if they can get on top of it and master that, then they'll be all right. But I think we're going to see a few batters struggle here. Not easy to play through the line.
Hence important, if you do get in, don't give it away. There's Walter, left arm over, in and bowling to McDermott. Just drops the hands on that one into the onside. Single all day long there. Won't be enough though to pick up the second as Snater comes herring in and tidies up from the mid-wicket fence. 17 without loss. We're in the third over. BBC Essex and BBC Solent, so just about to go halfway through the power play, if you can call it such. One lusty blow so far from Vince, but nothing else.
It's been a quiet power play, isn't it? The wicket's not helping.
Walter in and bowls. And on the pull is Vincent, this time on one bounce. Fielded by Snater out there, this time almost a deep backward square on this occasion. And just the single accrues, 18 without loss. Got all of that, did Vince, but on the bounce it was fielded.
Probably the first one that's come out of the middle of the bat, really, even though Vince hit a 6 last over.
Walter just examines the ball. And he comes running away from us at this Sir Alistair Cook end. In bowls to McDermott again, just singles all the way on the onside. Essex will be happy with that as they come through for another one. Quite over that one. 4 singles from it, and Hampshire, after 3 overs, have moved on to 19 without loss.
Yeah, I mean, what would you call this opening partnership so far? Sensible, quiet. It's both of those. But I think they've also both had a chat, and they're having another chat here as well. I think it's quite easy just to go gung-ho here. And I think until you've kind of got used to this tennis ball style bounce, that you really are taking too much of a risk. We know T20 cricket is very much calculated risks by the batter. Sometimes you throw total caution to the wind. I don't think at this stage it calls for that. I think you just need to give yourself a few balls just to get used to things.
Ben Allison coming on now from the Graham Gooch end. It's been a mainstay of this Essex side. It's T20 blast. Mixed results, but that's the way for everybody these days in T20 cricket, isn't it? It's always mixed results. One day you're the hero, the next day you've gone all round the park.
Here he is then, right arm over, replacing Snater, who was Shane Snater, who was right arm over as well. One bounce down to deep square leg by Ben McDermott. Short delivery to start off with by Allison, and it's 20 without loss, Hampshire in the 4th.
Other games in the South Group this evening. Glamorgan in the 11th over batting against Gloucestershire. They've reached 63 for 2. Middlesex Surrey 22 for 1. That was also a 7 o'clock start, so they're almost 3 overs into that. And Sussex 29 without loss in the 4th over against Kent. Sussex looked really good here last Friday.
Yeah. We've got them tomorrow night as well. That could be a good one. Vince, 14 off 13, faces the next delivery from Allison, comes in, bowls, and he's pulling that away. Doesn't really time it. Again, it's gone out to deep square leg. That seems to be the area at the moment. The Essex bowlers just hitting short of a length, the ball standing up. Bit of pace off really with this tennis ball bounce, and the batter's just waiting and just helping it away on the leg side. Never really quite sure how high the ball is bouncing.
It's a bit like the opening game we had on our little Southwest tour when Essex played at Gloucestershire. Essex were trying to smack the cover off the ball in front of square. Gloucestershire picked up all their runs square or behind square of the wicket. This doesn't look like a pitch where it's easy to hit straight.
Some balls, no it doesn't. He picks that one up well, Ben McDermott, and deposits that over mid-wicket. 6 runs, a little bit full, or fuller anyway. And McDermott's on the front foot and just swats across the line. Just helps it into the stand. Away to our left.
Yeah, it was a good, nicely timed stroke, wasn't it? As you say, didn't try to hit it too hard, and much with Snater when he got deposited for 6. I think the experiment, shall we say, of bowling a little bit fuller from both bowlers, they've got the results, they know not to do it again.
That's right, yeah, there's definitely a length here, isn't there, to bowl. Allison comes in again and bowls short and helped along the leg side. This will be 4 more, 1 bounce. Just helped away. Well, it was shorter, but if anything, probably a little too short from Ben Allison.
And that brings about a chat between Adam Rossington and Simon Harmer. Just adjustment in the field required, sending a man out to deep mid-wicket. which means they then have to bring the man at third, who is Shane Snater, up inside the circle, because we're still in the power play. So 2 men square on the onside, out on the fence now.
I think that's a good move, actually. I can't see too many going down to third man, if I'm honest. Is Allison bowls and pulled away by McDermott, and there's a fielder out there. He's caught back on a square leg, just helped away on the leg side by McDermott. It was always catchable height, and he's caught right on the rope, and McDermott goes for 15. Hampshire 31 for 1.
Yeah, as you say, it looked like a good move. They put the man out on the mid-wicket fence and pushed square leg back out onto the rope as well, and bringing third up into the circle. And unfortunately for McDermott, he's fallen for it, and Square didn't have to move at all, did he? Just had to make sure that he got a good sight of the ball, because it was coming out of the sun somewhat, but it was flat enough to enable him to adjust his eyes and fall backwards as he took the catch in his midriff and pouch it nice and comfortably. So Essex are on the board, and well, I think probably McDermott's eyes lit up and thought, well, there's another one I can put away, and unfortunately didn't bisect the 2 fielders on the square fence and picked out deep backward Square, and he has to go. And so Hampshire 31 for 1, just as they were beginning to look as though they wanted to put their foot down a bit.
Do you know, I was just going to say, probably that in the very next ball, that they both look as though they've just started to get the used to the pace of the pitch and the bounce, and just giving themselves a little bit more freedom to sort of open their arms. I think Ben McDermott will be really disappointed with himself there, because he didn't hit it. If he hit it, that's going out the ground, and all he's done is help it on the leg side. Well, if you're doing that, you've got to either keep it on the ground or lift it over the fielder. New batter is Fletcher Middleton, making his T20 debut, playing and missing outside the off stump. Good delivery, that one, from Allison to finish the over. And Fletcher Middleton playing and missing there in his first ball in senior T20 cricket. Hampshire then, after 4 overs, there's 4 overs gone, isn't it? They are 30... What are they, Dave? 31, thank you.
Yeah, 31 for 1, because when you look up at the main scoreboard here at Chelmsford, in between balls into the overs, the advertising comes up, or replays come up, so you very quickly lose track of the score. And the board over to our right, normally invariably a ball behind as well. Michael Pepper, incidentally, with the catch to dismiss Ben McDermott. Change of ends for Shane Snater, had 1 over at what was formerly known as the Hayes Close end, is now known as the Graham Gooch end. Is now going to bowl from this, the recently retitled Sir Alistair Cook end.
What's the more prestigious end?
Here's Snater in and bowling, right arm over, that's pulled away to the onside, should be out, and is. And James Vince goes almost in exactly the same fashion as his opening partner Ben McDermott had. Snater just puts one on middle and leg, and Vince pulls it round the corner, just trying to help it on its way rather than trying to hit it, and lobs it straight into the hands of deep backward square leg. And Hampshire have lost wickets to successive deliveries, and they're 31 for 2.
Well, that's a bigger boundary. I mean, he's actually hit that a little further, but again, he's just helping it in the air. There's almost no sort of decision there. Am I going aerial, in which case I've got to hit it harder to get it over the fielder, or am I going to hit it along the ground? I think the problem is trying to hit it along the ground is a little difficult, because the ball is bouncing a little higher off a length that you wouldn't expect it to bounce that high. But that, they've both been batting out there long enough to have worked that out, and they're kind of soft dismissals for me.
Yeah, really, just trying to help it round and thinks, well, that's on middle and leg, I can pick up 4 there, but maybe he was expecting deep backward square to be further round, almost at a long leg, but he wasn't. He was just there waiting and waiting very gratefully to pouch that catch. So Hampshire have lost wickets off successive balls. Joe Weatherly is the new man in for Hampshire, still in the power play here on BBC Essex and BBC Solent. Essex have struck 31 for 2, and we're in the 5th over, and Shane Snater is on the board now as well. Joe Weatherly just scratching his guard out. Ben Allison took a wicket the previous over with the ball, now has a catch to his name as well. He's the man down there who took the catch to remove the Hampshire captain. Here's Snater then, in and bowling to Weatherly, just pushes into the onside. They come through for a very quickly judged single, I think even if Michael Pepper had managed to pick it up cleanly, the man running to the non-striker's end, Weatherly, was home and hosed, 32 for 2.
Yeah, it looked risky initially, didn't it? Joe Weatherly was top scorer of 49 this year in the second game against Kent at the Utilita, which Hampshire won in the end. Exciting last 3 overs there as Hampshire were chasing down the Kent total of 165.
Snater to Middleton, yet to get off the mark. Snater in, and Rossington standing up, appeals for the stumping as because of Flashy whips off the bails, but Middleton's back foot was clearly planted rock solid behind the line. So let's do a little bit of repair work, put the bails back on, repair the stumps.
Interesting start for Fletcher Middleton in his senior T20 career. 2 plays and misses in his first 2 deliveries. He's been playing second team cricket whilst this competition has been going on. He made 62 off 37 balls against Middlesex 2s, and in the last game against Surrey last week, hit 81 from 53.
Snater then very quickly has the ball back in his hands. Rossington standing up. That's pulled away in the air, but it'll be safe as it goes down wide of long on, and they pick up 4 runs and Middleton's first runs in senior T20 Blast cricket. Nicely struck shot, safe shot as well.
I think I remember that ball more than the first 2. That was a good shot actually. Got on it early as well in front of square. We've seen all the shots sort of off the back foot hit at square or just behind. That's gone through mid-wicket. That's a really good shot.
Yeah, and he's aware as well that Rossington's standing up. Here's Snater in and bowled to Middleton. He just looks to make himself a little bit of room. Just stepped outside leg stump, but in the end just drops the hands on it again and scampers through for a single. 37 for 2 the score. We're in the 5th over.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Fletcher Middleton does make a useful contribution tonight, what Hampshire do, because I know they're without 2 of their main batters in Tom Prest and Ali Orr. They would be playing if they weren't injured. I'm told Tom Prest is a few days away actually from getting back to full fitness.
Snater into Weatherly. Weatherly forcing up to the man at short mid-on, but he set off very, very quickly. Charlie Allison is falling over at mid-on, picks the ball up, but not before they've completed the single. That's the end of the over. 5 gone now on BBC Essex and BBC Solent, and Hampshire having been put into bat by Essex at 38 for 2. Kevin will pick up and Dick will come in alongside you.
So the Essex bowlers used so far. Simon Harmer playing his 100th T20 game for Essex tonight. Bowled the first over, went for 4. Shane Snater has bowled 2 overs, 1 for 18. Paul Walter 1 over for 4, and Ben Allison 1 over, 1 for 12. McDermott for 15, James Vince for 15 are the 2 wickets that have fallen. They were out within 2 balls of each other, so there was a team hat-trick there at one point for Fletcher Middleton to face, and it's going to be Joe Weatherly to face the next over. I think this is Allison continuing, Ben Allison. From that, Graham Gooch end comes in, right arm over and bowls down the leg side. That'll be a wide. Don't even have to look at the umpire for that one. I think we all knew that one was. Good crowd here tonight. I asked the gate person and they said, oh yeah, it's a sellout tonight. It's the perfect weather for T20 cricket. When T20 cricket was devised, Dickie Davis, they had evenings like this in mind.
Indeed.
Not a cloud in the sky. Longest day today as well.
So I believe.
Yes. It's all downhill after today as Weatherly gets wrapped on the top of the pads as he comes down the wicket at Allison. The ball balloons out on the offside and there is no run. Will the floodlights be needed?
Well, don't they have to come on anyway at some stage? I mean, because they never like a sort of sudden switch on, like switching the living room lights on, do they? They have to be, so they can gradually acclimatise themselves. Isn't that right?
You're probably right, yes. I have absolutely no idea.
Oh.
But you sound like you know what you're talking about.
I always do.
Here's Allison. Well, you always do. Here comes Allison bowls, and that's a length ball. It's played to mid-wicket. They won a single, but it's gone straight to the fielder. Again, that extra bit of bounce. What have you made of this wicket so far, Dickie? You watch lots of games here.
Well, as you say, I mean, both those 2 wickets that fell were, you know, virtually carbon copies of each other, albeit at the same end, and they didn't get over the top of the ball because it's just getting that bit of bounce tonight, aren't they?
Yeah. I'm just looking at the scores here in the 3 games that Essex have played this season. The first game where they beat Middlesex actually made over 200, 203 for 7. I would suggest it's not quite the same wicket that evening as it is tonight. That's a good cut shot there from Joe Weatherly, and that's gone past short third, and that's gone for 4. I didn't think we'd see too many shots go into that area, but I think that was a little wide of off stump. Hampshire move on to 43 for 2, halfway through the 6th. 3 balls left of the power play. Just watching the replay here, and yeah, a little wide from the jumpy screen.
I'm not responsible for it being jumpy.
Well, that's all right. Hopefully for those watching the live picture feed, it's not the same. It just looks like we're seeing 1 frame in 10.
Yes, a bit like the old films when I first went to the cinema.
Yeah. Here comes Allison, bowls to Weatherly again. Weatherly works that up to mid-on. He's quite deep, so that'll be a single. And Weatherly moves on to 7. And the Hampshire total 44 for 2, with 2 balls left of this power play. So good start from Essex here, getting rid of Vince and McDermott, who haven't really got going yet as a partnership this season. Looks like Hampshire fans are going to have to wait a little longer for that, if indeed it happens in the next 7 games. One hopes so. As Anderson comes in, runs towards us once more and bowls. Middleton hoiks that away on the leg side, and that could go all the way, and it has. It's just gone over the rope for 6 runs. Just clipped that away, and it is a short boundary.
It is, yes. Yeah, the wicket is pitched sort of quite a long way over towards the east side of the ground where the executive apartments are. And conversely, it's quite a long boundary the other side. Sometimes they bring in the boundary when it appears to be that long, and then they can also get a few more rows of seats in. But no, it's virtually all the way to the physical edge of the ground, apart from the fact that there is a sort of pen of a dozen rows of spectators.
50 up for Hampshire. Middleton cuts that away to backward of point. It's fielded by Paul Walter. So that's the end of the power play. Hampshire have lost 2 wickets, but they have reached 50. That short side of the boundary, it does need to be protected, doesn't it, really? Because
yes,
there's runs there, isn't there, if somebody does get in?
Yes. Well, yes, that basic yardstick of 50 overs in the power play, Hampshire have just met it. Yes, because normally that is a pretty good indication as to how things are going, aren't they? Neither sort of particularly ahead of par or below par. So yeah, both sides will have something to be satisfied with so far. Simon Harmer going to bowl from the Alistair Cook end, playing his 100th T20 game for Essex, and moves in now, right arm over the wicket, bowls, and it's just pushed out in the onside. They'll look for a second, but it will be ill-advised, and indeed discretion being the better part of sheer folly, they settle for the single.
Yeah, I think Middleton just slipped a little bit as well, so even if he was thinking about it.
Well, yeah. Harmer in again. Goes up back foot, played out back to Harmer, who parries it rather than stops it cleanly, but only deflects it to Luke Benkenstein, fielding it mid-off. Next delivery.
Bold.
It was. Middleton came down the wicket, and Harmer probably saw him coming and just dropped in a bit short and finished up bouncing out into the covers.
Slower ball as well.
Yeah, no addition to the score. Although he hasn't taken a wicket in this competition this season, astonishingly, Simon Harmer. And that's worked well on the onside, more or less the same as 2 or 3 deliveries ago. And yet again, they settle wisely for the single. So a good over so far.
It is, yeah. Bearing his pace as he always does, Simon Harmer. He's just got a lovely loop, hasn't he? Lovely, easy action. He makes off-spin look so easy.
Yes, he does. Moves in now and bowls, and it's worked away off the back foot for a single out to deep mid-wicket, where it's fielded by Jordan Cox, one of Essex's signings for this season, and a very useful signing as well.
He's a great signing, isn't he? Both 4-day and T20, isn't he? He's a super player. Real addition. I know you lost Dan Lawrence.
Yes, but I think, it's more or less similar exchange.
Yeah.
And that again is out to Cox. And so the end of it, a good over from Harmer. It conceded 4 off the bat and 1 leg by, 5 runs. And the score moves on to 55 for 2 after 7, with Middleton on 12, Weatherly on 10.
Yeah, it does look hard work out there for the batters.
It does.
Not a lot is being timed. A bit of extra bounce as we've seen. It's a bit of a tennis ball. What I mean by that is it kind of sticks in the wicket and then bounces. It doesn't just sort of skid into the surface and come off. So it sort of hits the deck, stops a bit, or goes into the deck a bit, and then it sort of takes a little bit more of a vertical line. There's a better word than that, but you know what I mean.
I do.
It doesn't bounce how you think it would do off a deck. It just stops a bit and then goes a bit higher than it should, and that's the difficulty for the batters. Who have we got here then? Critchley. Yeah, that's cut away by Joe Weatherly. Nice shot to backward a point. That might go all the way, actually. I've lost it a little bit, but there is a stand here with an extra tier, which the ball
just
disappears
evaded the fielder.
Good shot, Joe Weatherly.
Yes, now admittedly that ball went for 4 and it probably deserved it, but speaking of good signings from other counties, Critchley has proved a very, very good signing from Derbyshire 3 years ago.
Terrific player for you guys.
Essex are quite shrewd in their signings.
Yeah, comes in again. That's a little fuller, but cut away again by Weatherly, but can't pierce the field to backward a point. Fielded by Dean Elgar. He's having a talk about signings. What a signing he's been for you guys.
Yes, I mean, they did really well, did Essex. You know, they lost the services of Cook and Lawrence and get Elgar and Cox. Talk about fair exchanges, no robbery.
Oh, gosh. Short again, cut away. He finds the gap this time, Weatherly, but it goes a little squarer. And they're coming back for 2. We have to hurry.
Oh.
Good running. And again,
it was good running. It wasn't the best of throws. It was came through at Rossington. We're just in front of Rossington's feet and out of the sun. So, yeah, not ideal for a keeper.
Ben Allison out there in front of the pavilion, away to our right. The Dugginsole Pavilion, I think it's called.
Yes, it is, yes.
Former England player and TCCB chairman or something when they were the TCCB or whatever they were. That's cut away in a little bit more towards extra cover by Joe Weatherly, and the total moves on to 62 for 2. Weatherly on to 17, and that's from 13 deliveries.
Fletcher was also England manager or coach as well as captain, and he also, somewhat notoriously in the eyes of Yorkshire supporters, dropped Sir Geoffrey Boycott memorably after he'd got a century.
Oh, how dare they?
Yes.
Middleton's worked that into the gap on the offside. They run the first one quickly. I don't think there'll be 2. They'll settle for 1.
And I believe, unsurprisingly, Boycott expressed his discontent.
No.
Yes.
You surprised me, Dickie.
Yeah, astonishing, isn't it?
No. Coming to the end of the 8th over here in Chelmsford. Hampshire 63 for 2. And that's Fuller this time, and Weatherly drives out towards extra cover. At least 2, and that's a good diving stop. Right on the boundary rope away to our right. And they're coming back for 3. Well, there's one for the history books. You don't see too many 3s.
No, you don't.
And that is one. You probably won't get another one tonight. 66 for 2 at the end of that over.
Well, it's just a long boundary, but yes, Fielder did very, very well to stop it. Just, well, a matter of a foot or so. Probably those who are watching on the live screen can see better than we can, which is about the only drawback of the live screen. They act as our auditors. And so it's Harbour to continue from the end from which we commentate, the Sir Alistair Cook end, formerly the River Can end.
I preferred the River Can when it was
Well, I've still inclined to lapse into calling it that. It's played with respect and not exactly deference, but certainly respect back to the bowler, who briskly walks back to his mark, turns, bowls now, forces the batsman onto the back foot, who then just tucks it away out to mid-wicket, where it's fielded by Jordan Cox.
It's interesting, nobody's tried their arm with Harmer, have they? Tried to hit him down the ground, which are short boundaries straight.
Yes.
Nobody's even attempted that yet.
No, they haven't. No, there again, that possibly could have, it looked just for a little while as if that was going to be the first such shot, but no, it was thought better of by Middleton. Finished up really just nudging it into the onside, no addition to the score. Harmer again, a busy cricketer, and all that's played uppishly, and but they pick up a single down to short third man, short and wide third man.
Again, it's the ball standing up, isn't it, and
It
bouncing
is, yes.
there.
I mean, there again, yeah.
Can't get on top of the bounce, and also you're waiting for the ball. You want to get into the shot, and you're waiting and waiting.
Yes. I mean, one of the, come back to that in a moment or two. That's just played out in the offside for a single. One of the joys of winning the toss and therefore fielding is not only do you know what you're going to chase, but you've got the whole of the opposition's innings to see what the wicket is doing.
Yes. Well, and there have been sort of slightly different scores here, haven't there? I mentioned.
Oh yes. Well, mistimed and looking for the really big hit. It's just a single off the lower, or no, the inside half of the bat down to long on for a single. So another good over from Harmer, which conceded only 4 runs that time. So he's conceded 12 in typically miserly 3 overs.
Yeah, he's looked really hard work to get away. So yeah, Middlesex got 203 for 7, which Essex chased down. The other games here, Glamorgan won with 166 for 8. Sorry, Essex won. What did I talk about? Essex chased 166. They chased that down, but they lost to Sussex here, which you've mentioned. Essex couldn't defend 178 for 9. So we are looking, going on those scores alone this year, we're probably looking at a high score. But I, as you said earlier, I don't think they've been playing on wickets quite like this. So
no,
I would say the score will be a little bit lower tonight.
And that victory against Glamorgan, they made hard work of it. They lost 8 wickets in the process, and it needed a very large 9th wicket stand. That's a thick inside edge, looking for the big hit at the short boundary. Got an inside edge down to fine leg for a single.
Who's we got here
moves
then?
on to 71 for 2. As Benkenstein,
Benkenstein
from the far end, Graham Gooch end, moves in, bowls. England under-19 captain has just been announced. And 2 other Essex players in the side, Charlie Allison and Noah Thane. A single out to cover boundary. As some more liquid refreshment passes by in front of us. All outside the off stump, and Middleton takes a bit of a waft. It's a wide, signalled by the umpire, who are Messrs Ian Blackwell and Anthony Harris. I think that's Harris down the far end. Benkenstein in again, gets it on the full, but only doesn't really reap the full benefit, only hitting it out for a single down to long on in front of the retirement flats.
Was he named as England under-19 captain for the upcoming series?
Yes,
Benkenstein.
Luke Benkenstein, yes. That's pushed through a little bit quicker and played just back with his square on the offside. Well fielded down by his ankles by turn around, let me see the number, 64, Dean Elgar. Benkenstein in again, young fair-haired bowler, again on the full, and again doesn't really reap the full benefit as it goes out for 2 runs, possibly 3. Oh yes, I wish I'd taken up the bet that would be the only 3 of the evening.
Well, it's that corner, isn't it, at the far end, about 2 o'clock as we look. Yeah. That's about the only area where you're probably going to get it.
Yes. Actually, I think, again it's on the full. Again, it's out for a single. So we have had 2 3s after all. So Kevin, I did take you on that bet. Either check, cash, or banker's draft will do.
Checks in the post, Gov.
Of course, yes. End of the over, and Essex having won the toss and put the opposition into bat. Hampshire are 78 for 2.
So just McDermott and Vince, the 2 wickets that have fallen, both for 15. Vince's 15 was a runner ball, and McDermott's 15 came off 9 deliveries. Both players out when the score was 31. Paul Walter is returning. His first over went for 4, bowling from this Alistair Cook end.
Left arm over the wicket. Proved over the last 2 or 3 seasons to be a very, very useful cricketer in all of the versions of the game, but especially the shorter one, including the shortest. Moves in now, left arm over the wicket. Bowls, and an attempt by Middleton to pull that away on the leg side doesn't meet with a great deal of success, and there again it's, as Kevin said, and Glenn probably said, and I've said, it is bouncing up, and that came through more or less waist height. And ball just finishes up at the batsman's feet. So Walter, Tall Paul as he's known for very obvious reasons. One is that his name is Paul, the other is that he's tall. So he moves in and bowls short of a length and pulled away down the leg side and given out, caught behind. And so the visitors lose their third wicket. Hampshire are 78 for 2. Rossington had to dive a fair amount of, well, not exactly dive, but fall over to his left to take that catch. It was a goodish catch, but had he dropped it, yeah, he would have been very disappointed, and so would Essex supporters. So 78 for 3.
Yeah, again, it's a short delivery, isn't it, really? Again, the bounces, Weatherly getting a little underneath that one, trying to help that away on the leg side, and the shorter ball here is the dangerous ball. It might bring a few runs with the short boundary, but it's certainly going to bring a few wickets. So that partnership between Middleton and Weatherly was 47.
So that brings to the crease who, Kevin?
Toby Albert.
Toby Albert, thank you.
He was had a reasonable season with the bat. Most significant contribution, 46 in the first game against Surrey, although it wasn't a losing cause, but played really well. 41 not out against Gloucestershire at Bristol when Hampshire were teetering a little bit with early wickets. Got them over the line there well. So he's played a couple of good innings.
So Walter moves in and bowls to him. Goes in the back foot, nudges that down to third man on the boundary. They amble through for what's known in the trade as an agreed single. Albeit it's tacitly agreed, it means that the batsmen know there's one and only one, the fielders know there's one and no chance of it being any less, so they will just settle for that. All very gentlemanly. As Walter moves in again, bowls, and has just pushed out for a single down to Benkenstein, fielding at mid-off. Score 79 for 3 on a glorious mid-June evening in front of, well, we're told it's a full house. There are quite a few green seats, but people do need to rehydrate at various stages in these games, especially with the weather like this, but they'll think of a reason whether the weather's good or not. That's pulled away backward of square for a single. And so Essex will be quite happy with this situation. 80 off the first. Well, we're now in what, the 11th? No, we're not. Yes, we are. We're in the 11th. In fact, coming towards the end of it, only one delivery, albeit assuming it's a valid one. And Walter moves in and bowls, pulled away for another single down to fine leg. Again, you know, we keep saying it, but it's because it keeps happening. It's not really timed properly. It's coming up and just a little bit higher than the batsman expected. Not dangerously high, but just slightly inconvenienced. And end of the 11th over, 81 for 3.
If I said Weatherly was out, apologies. It was actually Fletcher Middleton. I think I might have said Weatherly a few times there. Apologies.
Yes.
Fletcher Middleton out for 18 off 18. Run a ball 18 for him. Joe Weatherly's still out there, 27 off 21. A few shadows starting to make their way over the ground. Still not a cloud in the sky. And it's going to be Luke Benkenstein to continue from the Graham Gooch end, formerly the Hayes Close end. Nice shot down through mid-on, and that'll be 4 runs. There's very little room for the fielders to work with down at straight of the wicket. If it's hit with power a few yards either side of the boundary fielders, it was always going for 4. That one did. And Hampshire move on to 86 for 3, and we're in the 11th over here, so we're just past the halfway point. Benkenstein with his leg spinners bowls. Weatherly works that on the onside. I think they'll look for 2. There won't be one. Ooh, Albert was ready to go, but again, you just find with that short boundary, especially way to the left, the the outfield, it just runs out on you, and the fielders are suddenly on the ball, having not really run that far. 87 for 3. Weatherly moves on to 33 from 24. Albert's 2 from 2. Ready to face the next delivery. Just looks around to work out where those fielders are on the leg side. Bekenstein bowls. Albert drives pleasantly. Half stop by Harmer. Goes off his knee. Ricochets towards mid-off. They'll come through for a single. 88 for 3 Hampshire, having been put into bat. Yep. 2 changes. Just a reminder for Hampshire. I know there's 2 changes in the Essex side as well. But no Liam Dawson. He's ill. Hasn't travelled. They're hoping that he'll recover for tomorrow night. Pulled away by Weatherly along the ground. Not timed. Out towards deep mid-wicket. 89 for 3. No Felix Organ. Middleton we've just seen. Brad Wheel, who a week ago was playing in the T20 World Cup for Scotland, playing his first game this season.
Scotland
first game
he plays,
T20 game. He? Yeah, he plays for Scotland.
He's probably never seen weather like this before then.
Well, he probably thinks he's back in the Caribbean.
Yes.
There's Bekenstein. Pulled away in the air by Albert, and he's got a lot on it, and that's gone almost to the top tier. 5 or 6 rows back over mid-wicket. I didn't think he had initially. It kept going. That is the 4th 6 of the Hampshire innings, and not surprisingly, they've all come on that far left-hand side of the ground.
Yes.
95 for 3, Hampshire.
In fact, there have probably been as many 6s as there have 4s. I don't know if you're keeping account there.
There have been 5 4s.
And 4 6s.
And 4 6s.
Yeah, well, nearly as many.
I think the ball... Well, I'm surprised the ball's not coming back, because there was some crowd around where the ball landed.
It bounced over the stand.
Oh, did it go over in the end?
No, but not over the over the edge of the ground, because then it's either in the burger stand or the public toilets. Depending on which, it'll either come back or not.
Yeah. Or come back in a state that you don't really want to bowl with it.
No. Well, they have got...
Has it come back?
Well, there's certainly a cricket ball in there, and there hasn't been a sort of public inspection of it, so presumably it did come back. Yes.
95 for 3, 1 ball left of the 12th over to bowl by Luke Bekenstein with his leg spinners. That's a low full toss. Hit away hard by Albert, but straight to the fielder at deep cover. End of the over, 96 for 3. A few runs off that over. There was 18 off that.
Yes. So it's going to be Matt Critchley applying his trade from this end now. And,
his first over hasn't shown up on my screen.
Moves in now, right arm leg breaks. Oh, and that's gone hard, high, and should be and is held. Got far too much under it. Although it was aimed at the short boundary, it got far too much elevation, and the fielder, whom we can't identify at this exact moment, never looked like dropping it, and Hampshire lose their 4th wicket for 96.
Yeah, Toby Albert gone for 10 off 6 deliveries. You know, it's a plan, isn't it? I mean, if you're going to go for the short boundary side, because you can miss-hit it and you can get it over the rope. But there, again, the bounce on this wicket is just very difficult. You've got to get right to the pitch of the ball, and if you're not quite there, then it just goes too high.
Yes,
he's given himself a lot of room there. You could see what he was trying to do. I mean, it's the right side. If you don't back yourself to go the slightly longer side away to our right, then you go the shorter side. It's a plan, but it just doesn't come off.
No, a bit Baldrickian as it turned out to be. But as you say, the plan was there.
Benny Howell, the new batter for Hampshire, coming in at number 6. No Liam Dawson, who probably would have come in now.
Yes, Essex supporters, maybe Essex players, won't be. We're sorry to hear that Liam Dawson's unwell, but he usually seems to do very well against Essex. He did play here briefly on loan a few seasons ago.
Yeah.
As Critchley moves in and bowls. And played out in the offside. It always seemed surprising that Liam Dawson became available at that stage, because he was very much on the England radar at that time.
2015, 2016?
Something like that, yes. Critchley moves in again and bowls. Played out into the covers, straight to the fielder. Good over from Critchley so far. Wicket ...
Got 4 for 21 in the win here last year by Hampshire, Liam Dawson.
Yeah, well, their QED has that's gone out into the covers. Well, deep cover in front of the well, just to the left-hand end as we look at it of the covered stand, promoting the values of a large and well-known public school, not a million miles away from here, which has produced many a good cricketer, many a good cricketer. And that's over-pitched and just stroked elegantly through extra cover for 4 runs.
Well, it was in the air, it was catchable height, fortunately well away from Harmer at extra cover.
Yeah.
Although Harmer made out that the ball was going straight at him, which I think why 1 or 2 of the crowd thought it was closer to him than it actually was.
It was Charlie Allison who took that catch. That's just played out to Michael Pepper, fielding it long on, just in front of us and in front of the Riverside stand. End of the over, and Hampshire having been put into batter, 101 for 4 after 13 overs.
Yeah, 7 to do. Actually, they're not doing too badly, actually, runs-wise, even though this wicket is a little difficult. But they have lost those 4 players. McDermott, Vince, both got 18 each. Fletcher Middleton's 18 on his debut. So 15 each, McDermott and Vince, and Toby Albert, who made 10. Only Joe Weatherly, who's really got stuck in out there and batted any length of time. He's 39 from 27 at the moment, and doing a fine job. A few beers being passed around in front of us.
Yes.
It looks like Shane Snater coming back into the attack for Essex. 2 overs, 1 for 18. Snater picked up the wicket of Vince. He switched for his 3rd over back to the Graham Gooch end. Comes in with the keeper standing up again. Weatherly works that good length ball out on the onside. There'll only be a single. Weatherly moves on to 40 now, and it's 103 for 4, Hampshire having been put into bat. There are other games going on today, of course, as we near the halfway stage in the group section of this T20 Blast. Glamorgan playing Gloucestershire. Is that a bit of a local derby? Sort of, isn't it? It's not like Gloucestershire Somerset, but it's in the vicinity. Snater bowls, smashed away by Benny Howell, but only as far as Harmer at extra cover. Glamorgan 135 for 6. They're in the last over there. Middlesex Surrey 103 for 3 after 12. Sussex 121 for 5 in the 13th against Kent. Those are the other South Group games going on this evening. Sussex and Kent, both these sides meet one of those tomorrow. Essex playing Kent at Canterbury, Hampshire against Sussex at the Utilita. Just changing the field here. Looks like Dean Elgar is being pushed back down to 3rd, and fine leg is coming up for Benny Howell. He's faced 4 balls so far for his 1. Snater takes quite a long lower up, actually,
I was just thinking the same thing.
30-yard circle for the pace he's bowling. Interesting. Bowls, cut away, down to 3rd. It'll be short of Elgar. A couple of bounces, actually, before he allows the ball to come into his hands.
In fact, the boundaries are so short, particularly at each end, in fact, only at each end, that Snater isn't that far short of the boundary. Just looking now, can't really tell from here how far away, but yeah, 10, 12 yards perhaps.
Snater into Weatherly. Weatherly works that straight delivery out on the leg side. Cleanly fielded, so there's never any more than 1. Hampshire move on to 105 for 4, and Weatherly's 41 of 29 here, comfortably Hampshire's top scorer in this innings. They bowled well, Essex, tonight, actually. They bowled a good length, which made it quite difficult for the Hampshire batters. Benny Howe faces the next delivery from Snater. Howe cuts that away in front of square, but they've got fielders scouting the boundary there, have the home side. Howe moves on to 3, and the Hampshire total on to 106 for 4. Singing starting already.
Oh, yes.
Thursday night in Chelmsford, obviously the same as Friday night. Like every night,
Well,
probably.
Yes.
Here comes Snater again. Whether he pulls that away on the leg side to one of the 3 fielders, backward of square on the leg side, keeps it along the ground, which is important. Don't want any more catches away to deep square leg and around that area. 107 for 4, 14 gone.
Yeah, because in the city now, City of London, which is only 30 minutes on the train from Chelmsford, Thursday is the new Friday. You're probably aware of that.
Well, that probably would have been 30, 40 years ago.
Yes. Now, yeah, Thursday is very much the new Friday.
Ah.
Yeah, and those who work from home, they will go into the office on a Thursday and then have a couple of shandies afterwards. So Friday, relatively, the city is almost empty. As Harmer moves in and bowls his last over, and that's worked away on the onside for a single.
It's bowled well, Harmer. 3 overs for 12 before that delivery.
Yeah, still without a wicket this season, but this competition this season. But it's only given away 13 so far, with 5 deliveries to go. And but through the shot there, far too early was Benny Howell, and finished up wrapping him around the waist as he went down on one knee.
It was so slow, that
It was, wasn't it? Harmer in again, pushes that through a little. They go through for a single, and Harmer himself has to trot out to mid-wicket area to retrieve the ball.
Yeah, they haven't taken him on tonight, have they?
No, that's...
Not even tried.
No, it is unusual because, yeah, but nowadays, I'm not saying that batsmen, as that's pulled away for a single down to a deep mid-wicket, I'm not saying that batsmen don't respect any Harmer anymore. They certainly do respect him, but they don't sort of fear him like they did, a couple of seasons ago. They take him on at face value. As Harmer moves in and bowls, gives it plenty of air. Again a miscue, and he gets the thick inside or bottom edge down to fine leg, looking to hoik it into the River Cann probably.
Yeah, I just, for me, this is his type of wicket, isn't it?
It is.
Varies his pace, gets bounced from short of a length.
Yes, he loves it, although he's wicketless so far, but been very economical. And batsman just sort of walks, chassis into that, and ended a very good spell of 4 overs, during which time he conceded only 17 runs.
Yeah, terrific stuff.
15 overs gone, is that? Yes.
Yeah.
Glenn will join you. He seemed to be unaware that I'm definitely going.
No, you are.
I've been on
Congratulations.
10 consecutive overs. Yeah.
Oh my word, that's far too many.
That's what
apart from my 15
that's
consecutive.
That's what the listeners say.
Right. Obviously, it's me all the time then. Right, I'll get used to that. You wait till you come to our place. So 112 for 4. Weatherly's 45 from 33. Howell's 5 from 9. We have 5 overs left in this Hampshire innings, and it looks like we've got Matt Critchley back into the attack with his leg breaks, and he goes aerial. Weatherly, 1 bounce down to deep cover. Weatherly moves on to 46, 113 for 4. Start of the 16th over. Glenn Speller's back with us.
It's a game that hasn't caught a light, I think it's fair to say.
No, it's not that sort of pitch. Oh, he's sweeping. Big shout for an LBW, and he's gone. Well, on this wicket, even if you're playing across the line, you're on the front foot. Okay, fair enough. Howell goes for 5, 113 for 5.
You kind of get the feeling that it's one of those where the batter can't really argue, because you've already think, yeah, well, I might be. It's not. The umpire's taken a few seconds to think about it, but clearly thinks it's straight enough, and Hal's playing across the line, trying to sweep that one away. So it's probably a fair enough decision. We'll get a replay in a couple of moments just to see it.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of the bounce.
But yeah, I think it was full enough, wasn't it? He felt that's not going to go over, but
just watching the replay now, actually.
It's hit him on the full, isn't it? Almost. You were shaking your head.
Oh, listen. I mean, yeah, I think it's one of those. It could go either way. Now, James Fuller makes his way out to the middle, and how Hampshire would dearly love a little cameo from him, just to give the back end of the innings a little boost. He's certainly capable of it. He's very, very strong, and these boundaries certainly aren't big enough for him. It's just whether he can master this bounce quickly enough.
Somebody's going to have to take a grip of the game for Hampshire, aren't they? If they're going to get to 145, 150.
Yeah.
Someone's going to have to take a grip of the game.
It's looking like that at the moment, isn't it, really?
But difficult to get the ball away.
So it's Joe Weatherly. Wrapped on, sorry, Fuller. What am I talking about? Fuller's getting wrapped on the pad there. That looks as though it's going down the leg side and the inside edge.
He got an inside edge because Critchley sort of went and then realised, sort of thick inside edge just onto the pad. Yeah, he's just
yeah, just stopped it, didn't he? Stopped the appeal. Fuller drives into the ground. He hasn't timed that one. Goes back to the bowl. Critchley's into his third over here. He's done a good job, hasn't he? 2 for 18. Hasn't been a lot of turn for him. It's just a bit of bounce, which is what leg spinners love. That's turned away by Fuller on the leg side. He's off the mark. 114 for 5 in the 16th, last ball of the 16th coming up.
So this is a used track, and it was a used track here against Glamorgan a couple of weeks ago, and Glamorgan got themselves to 166 after a very slow start.
Yeah, I think we're going to see something similar, I think. Whether he cuts that away on the offside, will keep the strike, moves on to 47. Hampshire at the end of the 16th over are 115 for 5. Good over that wicket, and only 3 runs.
I think Glamorgan only sort of had about 40 odd from the power play on that particular evening because it was difficult to get the ball away, and Hampshire, I thought, actually played quite a nice power play. They quickly realised they weren't going to flay the ball to all parts, and you thought that Vince and McDermott pretty much got the measure of it, and then promptly after successive deliveries just helped the ball into the hands of the respective deep backward square legs. But it's clear that scoring runs is not going to be easy, and even more so as the evening progresses as well. So 4 overs to go, 115 for 5 is the score. Ben Allison is on from the Sir Alistair Cook end. 1 for 24 from his 2 so far. He's in and bowled, and that is driven down to long on by Weatherly, who makes his way up to 48 now, and the score to 116 for 5. Got himself to 48 from 36 deliveries. Joe Weatherly.
Yeah, one off his best score of the season, 49 against Kent. This is his top score so far in the second match at the Utilita.
Well, he's the set batter, and he's the one that Hampshire need now to take them home, and he's closing 4.5 overs. Allison just wipes some perspiration from his forehead with a black wristband. He's on his left wrist. He's in and bowling to Fuller now. Up in the air and caught. Just off the outer part of the face of the bat, that from Fuller, sliced away to extra cover, and extra cover then just signalling that it's actually just taken the turf just in front of him, So no catch, but a single is taken. 117 for 5.
Yeah, right on the half volley.
Just momentarily, everyone, including myself, thought he'd taken it, but then just looking at the fielder's reaction, very quick to say nope, that was on the half volley. Slower ball from Allison, it turns into a full toss, which is driven, and it hits the stumps at the non-striker's end, and they can't even take a single for that as well, because it didn't deflect far enough away. 117 for 5 is the score.
Yeah, he got away with that. That's a full toss, slower ball. Weatherly didn't time it either. It's hit straight. If he'd have timed it, I'd have gone for 4.
So I was trying to play a bowl sort of like a knuckleball there, wasn't he? With baseball, just trying to.
Yeah, he's bowled a couple of good slow ones actually.
Trying to die on the bowler, but it was almost batter. It's almost hip high that time. Now that's struck on the pads and that's out. Allison gets his man, LBW. Weatherly's gone for 48, so Hampshire lose the set batter. Quicker and full of that from Allison, and caught palpably right in front of all three there, Weatherly. He has to go 117 for 6, and Hampshire's run rate is a smidgen, and I do mean a smidgen, over 7, and they're in danger of just subsiding at the end of this innings here and maybe not seeing out their 20 overs.
Yeah, that's a really good delivery. That is sort of classic seam bowlers trick there. Slower ball, and then put in the quicker ball, make it a Yorker, keep it straight. And Weatherly was just a little too late on that one. That's really clever bowling.
Nice hand from those in the home stands for Joe Weatherly. Out for 48. Yeah, it's hit him on the toe, isn't it? Right in front. And that was out, and he knew as well. So Allison has another one. 117 for 6, and Hampshire might just be readjusting their sights here. Essex winning the toss, remember, and electing to bowl first. And Michael Nisa is the new man at the wicket. Ben Allison will skip before he starts his approach. In and bowls, full delivery again, which turns into a full toss, which is driven very attractively away for 4 runs to the cover boundary. 121 for 6. Nice way to announce yourself, mind you. Quite a nice welcome as well from Ben Allison.
Yeah, he can bat, Michael Nisa. Make no mistake about that. He's an all-rounder. It's a nice shot. He's gone for the Yorker again there, Alison. Just slightly overdone that one.
Very attractive looking shot. He ended up down on one knee, did Nisa? Just kept the man at the square cover boundary, square cover point, interested, but just had the legs to go over. Here's Allison in once again. That's pulled away behind square on the onside. Just a single. Deep backward square comes in. 122 for 6 in the 17th over. In fact, that's the end of the 17th over here on BBC Essex and BBC Solent. 122 for 6. Nisa has 5 and Fuller has 2. And Weatherly, top scorer this evening, just gone for 48, which is a real blow to Hampshire. Mind you, if anything's to go by, I don't think Essex will find chasing particularly easy on this surface.
No, it's just that the innings has never really got going, isn't it? It's amazing how, you know, one batter can pull another one along, and if they have a good over, and then all of a sudden the other batter sort of finds a bit of form, and then 2 batters going well can suddenly just change the complexion of the game, the wicket and conditions and what have you. But Hampshire have never really had that luxury. As well as Joe Weatherly played, you know, he didn't really have a big over or a big 2 overs that suddenly, you know, probably got the lads in the changing rooms like really fired up. It's not really been that sort of innings for the whole 17 overs so far.
Paul Walter back on at the Graham Gooch end.
Left arm over. Comes in and bowls, and oh, that's wide. That's very wide, although it's not called a wide because I think Nisa just moved a little bit leg stumpish. Where he's finished at kneeling down is very wide outside off stump, but I think by the time he was playing the shot, he wasn't in that position, that's for sure. Paul Walter's first couple of overs, 1 for 8, picked up the wicket of Fletcher Middleton. So 122 for 6 in the 18th over here. Walter left arm over, comes in and bowls to Nisa. Nisa goes up in the air. This could be called at mid-off, or will it? Actually, he might have got away with it. He has. The ball just out past the outstretched hands of Jordan Cox. Yeah, it looked like he was under it, and the ball was always just running away from him.
Yeah, it's one of those, keeps the fielder interested, doesn't it? But even with a dive, it's just out of his grasp, just spinning away from him, so gets away with one.
124 for 6. Nisa moves on to 7 off 4. Front foot was a long way away from the ball there. As Walter comes in again and bowls. Nisa drives hard past Cox along the ground, well past him for 4. Past his right hand this time.
Nice straight drive, wasn't it, all the way along the ground. Just stood still, stand and deliver sort of shot, and straight enough this time to evade Cox away to his right, whereas the previous ball had him scuttling away to his left and unable to take the catch. So 128 for 6. Good little hand being played here by Michael Nisa.
Yeah, it certainly is. Walter switching to round the wicket, trying to cramp Nisa up a little bit with the angle. Goes full. Nisa works that down to 3rd. That will only be a single, fielded by Ben Allison, just to our right. The total moves on to 132 for 6. 2 balls left of over number 18.
Gloucestershire chasing 141 to beat Glamorgan. Just started their innings, one without loss in the first over. Middlesex, Surrey 129 for 6 in the 16th there. Not having it their own way. And Sussex 175 for 5 after 17 against Kent.
Batting well again, aren't they? Oh, that's smacked away by Fuller. And that's 6. I think that's 6. Yeah. It has. Just between the rope and the boundary boards, over mid-off. Stand and deliver.
It was a baseball shot, wasn't it, in the end? It's just below shoulder height, and he just battered it straight. And as you say, on the full, a real flat one, which had people in the seating area at the Graham Gooch end slightly concerned, but in the end it smacked into the base of those advertising hoardings. There is a rope inside the hoarding as well. That's why it was 6.
Well, that's James Fuller for you. What's Walter going to do now? Comes over the wicket this time and bowls. Slower ball and slapped away along the ground up to deep mid-on by Fuller.
Wasn't the best disguised slower ball in the world, was it? Just completely slowed his entire action down, and even as he approached the wicket, slowed down as well. And he has a little smile to himself and a smile to the batter as well. 136 for 6, 2 overs to go. Nice little hand is being played by Nisa. 12 from 6.
Yeah, just needs a couple of blows from Fuller as well to get Hampshire around that 150, 160 mark, which I think will be competitive. Whether it will be enough or not will be interesting. I think we'll have a game on our hands, that's for sure. Unless Pepper gets going and Critchley the way they do.
Yeah, well, Pepper a century and a 50 so far to his name. Dean Elgar's played really well in this format so far this season up front as well. So, penultimate over. Ben Allison is in, bowls a full toss, which is hammered into the bottom tier of the Tom Pearce stand, away to our right for a maximum. It's gone for 6, 142 for 6, and Fuller goes to 15, but I'm afraid it was a full toss. It was a low full toss, but nevertheless it was a full toss, which Fuller's picked up.
He's one guy I'd hate to bowl to in the Hampshire side. So strong. You cannot get the ball wrong at all.
He's hit it to one of the longer parts of the ground as well. Wide, long on. So Allison goes for 6 off his first ball. He's in and bowls to Fuller once again. Oh, and that's a Yorker. And Fuller just jabs the bat down on it, but there's no run there. He has to send Nisa scuttling back. 142 for 6. Good comeback.
That is a brilliant ball. Brilliant comeback, that. He's got a good Yorker on him, actually, isn't he? We saw the one with Weatherly, a quicker ball there that got him LBW when he was set. Got a good slower ball. Hasn't always landed the slower ball in the right areas, but you can see the differences in pace. And that Yorker is a very handy delivery that he's got.
He's been asked to do a tough job, and he has done throughout this T20 format for Essex, bowling the sort of latter overs when the stick really is flying around. Just very carefully places the ball in that right hand. In and bowls now is Ben Allison. That is hammered straight down the ground, and it is a 1 bounce 4. The umpire is just asking to check, but for me that's bounced inside and gone for 4 runs. He's just pointing to the ground, just saying, did that bounce inside the rope? I'm pretty sure it did, and if so, 146 for 6, but straight driven, straight down the ground on that occasion.
Harmer's saying 6.
Let's have a little look at it on the replay. It's just yeah, it has. It's just hit the bottom of the advertising hoardings.
Yeah, I suppose you couldn't argue because it's right outside the Hampshire dressing room. So you can't argue that one.
It's gone for 6. Just cleared the rope. So 2 6s in this over. Allison back in again, tries the Yorker, gets it wrong, and it hits the inside edge of the bat, fielded by Paul Walter. Short fine leg on the edge of the circle, but they come through for a single. 149 for 6.
I'll tell you what, this is a handy late partnership, isn't it? Between these two. They're not going to hold back now. Fuller won't. Fuller never does.
That came together at 117, these two, and they've put on 32 already, and the pressure is on Ben Allison, and his skipper Simon Harmer is there at long off to offer a few encouraging words. 2 more balls to come in this over. It's cost 13 so far. So here is Ben Allison in again, bowling to Michael Nisa, and Nisa flips that one up in the air, should be caught just outside the circle by a back-pedalling third man. Just tried to ramp it down to the deep third man boundary and got more aerial than distance on it, and it was a back-pedalling catch taken in the end by Dean Elgar. 149 for 7, but Michael Nisa only got 12, but it just got a bit of momentum back into this Hampshire innings.
Yeah, he certainly did. I think he's a little unlucky there, actually. I think normally at that pace, and you just touch the ball away behind square on the offside, that normally races away It's just come off the toe of the bat, I think, and he's just hung in the air. Well, way outside off stump.
Yeah, he was stepping outside off stump, wasn't he, to sort of reverse ramp it, and in the end the ball was so far wide he had to just adjust his hands, and that's why maybe he's just steered it more aerial than anywhere else. And Elgar just had to shield his eyes from the sun momentarily, and 3 or 4 steps backwards, never easy to do. But in the end, took a good, comfortable catch. 149 for 7, 8 legal deliveries to come of this Hampshire innings.
It's a good bit of bowling, just something different, wasn't it? I haven't seen a shorter ball from Allison.
We've seen him execute the Yorker on a few occasions, but we've seen him get it wrong on a couple of occasions as well. Chris Wood is the new batter, and Allison is in and bowling to him. Slower ball, cut away to Dean Elgar, just taken that catch, and there'll be no run there. Is in fact the end of the over. So 149 for 7 with 6 legal deliveries to come. But importantly for Hampshire, Fuller will have to strike. 22 from 10 so far from him, and they've got the run rate up to just below 8.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of boundaries here, and Hampshire are looking at around 160, which I think is, is not a bad effort considering they started slowly, weren't quite sure of the pace and the bounce of the wicket. Dermot and Vince uncharacteristically quiet really in the first 2 or 3 overs or so, and then they have lost wickets regularly. They haven't really had a spell where they've been on top. They've had to work hard for almost every single run that they've got to at this point. So I think they'll be reasonably happy with 160 odd. It keeps them in the game.
3 for 44 for Ben Allison, incidentally, from his 4 overs.
He's bowled well. He's gone for a few, but he's bowled at important times, hasn't he?
And Paul Walter is who has the honour of bowling the last over.
Well, we might see a few more slower balls from him this over. Especially if Fuller gets hold of one initially. There's the fielders on the offside behind square are all up. They're not expecting Fuller to do anything else and try and hit it down the ground. Goes length, and that'll be at least 4, and it's a flat 6 over mid-off. Well, he certainly can't bowl it there. Not to Fuller. That's right in the slot.
Well, what did we see in the early overs? We saw Snater and Allison bowl back of a length, and then the moment they went full, got hit, and it's exactly what Paul Walter's done right at the start of this over. Fuller's not going to miss out on that. So it was dead flat, but dead straight.
Yeah, he's got to mix his pace up, and he's got to bowl shorter of a length than that. Comes in 155 for 7. Then Hampshire bowls. There's a short ball. Paul top edged over the keeper. That'll be 4. Well, you do run that risk.
Yeah.
But it's probably a better length.
That's what we're saying. Yeah, I mean that was better, but he's been a little bit unfortunate. They can fly anywhere. You can't have fielders everywhere. And it's gone over the wicketkeeper's head. But 10 off the first 2 balls here. Glamorgan got 166 last Friday, and that was almost enough to win the game.
Yeah.
2 Fridays ago, I should say.
It was about 8 balls to spare. Essex got there. So 159 for 7. There's still 4 balls left. Put short again. Pulled away by Fuller, and that's over mid-wicket for 6 ball. Well, this is probably the over that Essex feared, and at the moment 6-4-6 off the first 3.
That was in the arc, wasn't it, for Fuller? And look what Essex do there, without doing anybody a disservice.
Yeah.
They put a taller fielder out at wide mid-wicket, and the shorter fielder who was just out there and couldn't jump high enough to try to take the catch is pulled in and inside the circle.
Yeah, you have to try, don't you? Fuller is 38 from just 13 deliveries. 165 for 7. Still 3 balls left of this innings.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be running a 1. They shouldn't.
The danger signs are there for Essex with this over. As you say, it's probably the over they feared.
Yeah. Around the wicket now. Walter is trying everything here. Bowls and length ball smashed away by Fuller. Now that is out to deep cover, and Fuller runs and then says no, we're not going to run, and comes back. I thought that would happen. There was an easy single there, but Fuller's saying no, I'm the one more likely to smack the boundary. Well, it might do, but it's quite interesting actually. They've already put 1 up on the scoreboard. Take it off. Mind you, they both got virtually middle of the pitch. Now I think they've done exactly the right thing for me. Here's Walter. Bowls and short of a length, and Fuller hits it on the leg side. He's gone straight to the fielder, and they're not going to run there either. Well, they will run whatever happens this delivery. You're right. I mean, it may be that the first 3 balls that went for 16 and now the next 2 haven't gone for any. Be interesting come the end of this game.
Is Wood that?
Well, he can, but I mean, Fuller's the most likely to hit it out of the ground. But yeah, I mean, out of the 2, I mean, yeah, Wood. Well, Wood's a number 9. Right, here we go. Last ball of the innings then. Where's this going to go or not go? And Fuller, doesn't get hold of that. They will run one this time. And Wood jogs through for a single. And the last 3 balls in complete contrast to the first 3. And Hampshire finish on 166 for 7. Ironically, you were talking about the Glamorgan score.
Yeah, that's what Glamorgan got, and Essex got over the line, albeit there was a heck of a mid-innings collapse, and Luke Benkenstein and Shane Snater got them there in the end. They took rather the country route to that victory target. But yeah, 166, that's handy on a used track. And Hampshire at the end there, Joe Weatherly, Michael Neeser, he only got 12, but he got some momentum back into this Hampshire innings, and that fine hand played by James Fuller has got Hampshire into this game, and I think that's about a par score. That's challenging enough for this Essex lineup, and we've seen on a couple of occasions Essex suffer these mid-innings collapses where a clutch of wickets goes down. It's been identified by the coaching staff and the players themselves in various interviews that, you know, that is something that we need to stop, because you're not going to get anywhere. You may not even get out of the group doing that, and that's something that they've come together and had long, hard chats about. But Hampshire are right in this game at 166 for 7. So Essex then winning the toss and electing to bowl first on a used track pitch which was used here against Sussex last week, and it was a slow old start, and it was clearly difficult for batters to get the balls away. But even so, in saying that, Ben McDermott and James Vince had got them to 31 in the 4th over before McDermott was out, caught in the deep by Michael Pepper off the bowling of Ben Allison for 15. That was actually the end of Allison's over, but off the first ball of Shane Snater's over, James Vince did exactly the same thing and pulled the ball round the corner straight into deep backward square legs hands. This time though, instead of bowling, Ben Allison was catching the ball. Middleton and Weatherly then came together, took the score to 78 before Middleton on debut was caught behind, perhaps slightly unfortunately. If he'd left it alone it would have been a wide, but he tried to pull it round the corner and it took something, and Rossington took a tumbling catch behind the stumps. He was gone for 18. Albert then caught by Charlie Allison, another man making his debut this time for Essex this evening, off the bowling of Matt Critchley for 10. Benny Howell LBW to Critchley for 5. But then after Joe Weatherly was out LBW to Ben Allison, top scorer this evening for 48 from his 38 deliveries. Michael Neeser, he only made 12 but came together with James Fuller and just got some momentum back into this innings. They added 32 for the 7th wicket before Neeser was out, caught at short third man by Dean Elgar off the bowling of Allison. But Fuller, a few lusty blows towards the end there, 39 from 16 balls, 1-4 but 5 sixes in that, and Wood just faced the 1 ball and didn't manage to get himself off the mark. So 166 for 7. Dick Davis, the Essex bowling, Simon Harman the captain, bowled well this evening, none for 17 from his 4. Shane Snater 1 for 23 from 3. Paul Walter took a bit of tap towards the end there, 1 for 39 from 4. Ben Allison bowled well, 3 for 44 from his 4. Matt Critchley 2 for 20 from 3, and Luke Benkenstein, just the 2 overs for him this evening, the youngster, none for 22. Dick Davis 166 for 7. That was
right, over in front of the Felsted School stand we have got Thatcher's Apple Race. We've got 2 pairs of participants who have the chance to win a gift pack courtesy of our club partner Thatcher's. Your name is?
Phoebe.
Phoebe and?
Tom.
Phoebe and Tom on this side, and on the inner side?
Darren.
Darren and?
Sarah.
Sarah. Well, welcome to the outfield. All you've got to do, one at a time, is go up to the line, round the cone and back. It's quite simple. First one to get back, all right? Phoebe and Sarah, are you ready? Let's have some support for them. Thank you. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Go on, go on. Phoebe's got a technique. Sarah is trying to... Go on, Sarah, keep going. Keep going. Go on, go on, go on. Phoebe's round and on her backward lap. Oh, hello. I'm going to be run over. Go on, Phoebe. Go on, Phoebe. Come on, Sarah, you're still in it. Pick the pips out of this one. Come on. Come on in, Tom. Tom, that way, that way. I know you can't see. Oh, oh! Darren's on a charge. Round the cone. This could be tight. Come on, Tom. Come on, Tom. Oh, 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 oh. By a Cox's pippin, we're going to give it to Tom and Phoebe. Congratulations, well done, Darren and Sarah. Let's have a round of applause for them all. Now, I've got a couple of birthdays while I'm talking to you. Happy 69th birthday to John Webb from the Oldies and Wags celebrating tonight. That brings up some interesting images. So happy birthday, John. And also many happy returns to Ruth Stander, who is celebrating her 90th birthday with us. That comes from all the family. So happy birthday, Ruth. Great to have you here with us at the Cloud County Ground.
...20 overs, Gloucestershire are struggling, 21 for 3 after 5, so there's some repair work to be done there. Surrey 181 for 8, just one more ball to come in their innings there against Middlesex. Middlesex won the toss and decided to field in that game, and I can tell you as well that Luke Holman's taken a 5 for Middlesex, 5 for 16 from his 4 overs, 181 for 9 now, with one more ball of the Surrey innings to go. And Sussex Sharks, well, they're playing Essex's opponents tomorrow night. That's Kent down at Hove, and Sussex, very impressive side. They looked really good here last week. Well, they lost the toss and were asked to bat. Sussex have racked up 201 for 7 down there, and Harrison Ward, who put Essex a little bit to the sword here last week, particularly harsh on Aaron Beard, he's made 61. Daniel Hughes 26, and some late order hitting there as well, which has included a 40 from Danny Lamb. So Sussex looking good in this group, 201 for 7, and set Kent 202 for victory. Kent again have included Zach Crawley in their side. He's yet to get going in this competition as well. And Surrey's innings is over. They've set Middlesex, and I'll be kind to Middlesex, but an unlikely 186 for victory there at Lords. But yeah, the South Group is hotting up nicely, but these two sides certainly not firing. So whoever gets the win this evening, both in action tomorrow night, we'll hope that can get them going. And as you say, Dick, set them up for the second half of this competition, because we've then got the small matter of, for Essex, Durham in the Championship, and then the even smaller matter of a certain Surrey at the
yes,
Oval
quite. To which both you and I are going, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that greatly. I always enjoy going to the Oval. I've said it many times. I prefer going to the Oval than I do to Lords. And yeah, we know they're a very good side, but the whole atmosphere, the club as a whole are always seem to be very pleased to see visitors, and they encourage them. So yeah, maybe, I mean, you're doing the first 2 days, maybe I'm doing the last 3. Yeah, that might not be. If Essex are firing on all cylinders, then maybe I won't have an awful lot to watch. Essex will sort of finish it off by tea time on the 3rd day. But yeah, there goes Santa Claus.
Yes, it would be nice, wouldn't it? But we all know about Surrey, we all know about their depth. But
yes,
getting back into the county championship, 2 very important games coming up for Essex. And Durham, who've done okay on their return to Division 1, will certainly be no pushovers. They put up a good show up there in the northeast when I was up there as well. Their batting is stronger than their bowling, admittedly, Durham, but certainly Essex won't have it their own way, and that is a huge game, isn't it? Already looking like a massive game, even at this stage of the summer, at the Oval, which starts a week on Sunday. That game starts after the Durham match. Right, Hampshire are making their way out to the middle, so the Essex batters won't be too far behind them, and it's the now very familiar pairing of Adam Rossington and Dean Elgar who will make their way out there. 167 is the Essex victory target from 20 overs. It looked like it might be around about the 140, 145 mark at one point, but Joe Weatherly and then latterly James Fuller, with a little bit of help from Michael Neser, got Hampshire up to 166 for 7. It was a good comeback from Paul Walter, who was hit for 2 sixes and a 4 in that final over. but then came up with 2 dot balls and just a single as well to finish it off with. That was a good comeback from him, but certainly Essex will want to be ahead of the game in the power play, because Hampshire's power play wasn't great.
No, they got exactly 50, if memory serves me right. Well, I'm pretty sure it was exactly 50, and yeah, it's good to see Dean Elgar going so well in this competition, because I can remember, you know, when he was in the first match, then he got a merciless, well, not abuse, but criticism on social media, saying, you know, he's not a one-day player. And here he is. He's got almost as many. Pepper's got 213, and Elgar's got 205. So yeah, he's doing very, very well. It's an average of 34 compared with Pepper's 35. So they're the two at the top of the batting. And Elgar and Rossington are a good foil for each other as well, I think. Slight contrast.
Michael Nisa, unsurprisingly, is going to open the bowling for Hampshire. He's going to be bowling to Adam Rossington. Essex need 167 for victory. 3-3 at the moment from their opening 6 games in this T20 Blast. They need a win. Nisa then from the Graham Gooch end, almost sprinting in to Rossington, and Rossington feathers at that one outside the off stump, doesn't get anything on it, and it goes through, and there'll be no run there.
I think it bounced just before it got to the keeper anyway, so we might see a replay of that.
Ben McDermott behind the stumps for Hampshire.
Yeah, some fast bowlers, they approach the wicket in almost leisurely fashion, and then it's all in the arm and the shoulder, but Nisa really pounds in.
Looks like he means it, doesn't he?
Yes, it does.
As he comes in and bowls to Rossington, tries to whip that one away through the onside, but in the end it rather dribbles away behind square. But Essex are up and running. It's off the bat as well. 1 without loss, 2 balls gone of their reply. Off to Kent tomorrow night, over the bridge on a Friday night. Do set off early, won't you, if you're going there? Fridays on the M25 and the Dartford crossing.
Oh,
almost brings you out in a cold sweat now, doesn't it?
It does. I wake up in the middle of the night panicking about that Dartford crossing, particularly from Kent by the tunnel.
Nisa into Elgar. Oh. Well, has he got something on that? Nisa seems convinced that he has. I have to say, Nisa seems convinced, and then the rest of the Hampshire players kind of joined in, but the man who was last to join in was the wicket-keeper.
Yes.
1 without loss.
Yes.
Be interesting to see. Yeah, let's have a little look at the replay. Yeah, he's not got anything on that. You can see daylight. I mean, McDermott just jogs, and then kind of joins in. If the umpire wanted to give away, not to give it out, then that was it. The wicketkeeper.
And Nisa followed a long way down the wicket as well.
Yeah. He's in again, bowling to Elgar, pushes out to the offside. There'll be no run there either, as fields on the offside, a ring of them converge on the ball. 1 without loss. Nisa just kicks away with his footmarks.
Nisa's one of the joint top wicket takers for Hampshire in this competition. He and 3 others have 7 wickets to their name.
Played with Paul Walter out in the Big Bash over the winter. Did Nisa. Here he comes, herring into Elgar once. That's down the leg side, and it's a long way down the leg side as well. And wide is signal, just getting his sights wrong there. McDermott had to go an awful long way to stop that one.
Yeah, well taken by the keeper, diving a heck of a long way. I mean, keepers always have to keep their wits about them, but against when they're keeping to a bowler like Nisa, even more so. You earn your keep keeping to Nisa.
On the edge of the circle, turns, almost runs in on his tiptoes. Comes in and bowls to Elgar. Elgar on the drive up to mid-off. He's on the edge of the circle, but there's setting off for a single. It was always there because mid-off didn't bother moving. 3 without loss.
It may have been always there, but it took Rossington by surprise. He was back on his heels, and it was the taking of the run was helped by the fact that mid-off, albeit stopped it, but didn't field it quite cleanly. Now, Rossington may well have got there anyway, but yeah, he had to go into top gear for most of the distance.
A drone circling the ground at the moment. Good view from up there. As Nisa comes in and bowls to Rossington. Tries to hit that wide of mid-wicket, but mid-wicket quickly gets around. prevents the run. End of the over, first one of the power play, and Essex very quietly got themselves to 3 without loss, much like the way Hampshire started as well, quite tentatively, just trying to see how the pitch is going to play. It has been difficult to get the ball away, but there were some lusty blows from Hampshire. Clutch of boundaries at certain stages of the innings as a pigeon thinks about landing on the railings in front of us, and then he quickly changes direction. It's going to be Chris Wood who bowls from this Sir Alistair Cook end.
Yeah, he'll be bowling to the left-handed Dean Elgar, South African, and Wood also left arm. Oh, and Elgar, well, that tucked him up a little bit, and I think it came back at him. That might be interesting to see the replay as well. The wicket is, well, I was going to say as we forecast, we didn't need to forecast because we saw the evidence of the last 20 overs, or 21 now. It's not easy. Not easy at all, and helping the bowlers more than the batsmen as Wood moves in and bowls. Short of a length and played out to cover, must have only just bounced just in front of him.
Yeah, his heart was in his mouth momentarily. It was a bit toe-endy that from Elgar, wasn't it? But it was a good stop from Benny Howe, but it was just on the half volley, much like we had one in the Hampshire innings as well, where the crowd were up, and I momentarily thought the catch had been taken, but the fielder very quickly signalled that no, that had just bounced just in front.
Yes. Wood again to Elgar. Elgar's hit that hard, high and handsomely for 4 runs. Bounced once in front of the rope at deep mid-wicket. 4 runs.
It was in the air a long time, wasn't it? Just didn't quite have enough on it to go all the way over. Just sort of helping it on its way, a little flick rather than a great flow of the bat.
But it was into a big gap, a vacant acreage over in that sector of the ground as Elgar goes on the back foot, places it out to Benny Howe and the covers again. And score remains on 7 without loss, and we're 4 balls into the second over, needing 167 to win.
202 is Kent's target, by the way, down at Hove, and Zach Crawley, his poor forms continue. He's out for 4, the England opener.
Very much famine or feast is Crawley, very much. Oh, and that's lofted hard, high and 6. And again, Dean Elgar says, what do you mean I can't play one-day cricket or 20-over cricket? And that was a big hit. We can't, no, it clearly wasn't out of the ground, but because it's just come back. But it certainly bounced over the areas of the spectators onto the tarmac surface behind it.
Always necessitates the umpire inspecting the ball as well, just to check where it's hit the tarmac, it hasn't taken a chunk out of it.
As Wood moves in again and bowls to the South African, who flirts outside the off stump, trying to nudge it down to third man. Fails to make contact. End of the over. Wood conceded 10, and Essex in pursuit of 167, are 13 without loss after 2.
Yeah, a couple of good blows that from Dean Elgar, just trying to get the measure of this pitch, just shuffled down, just shimmied down a couple of strides to hit Wood straight back down the ground for that 6 as well. So he feels he's just beginning to get the feel of the pitch. The ball isn't quite coming on as the batters would like. They are having to wait for it a bit. Quite a lot of runs have come behind square this evening. Nisa is going to continue from the Graham Gooch end, the more open end of this Chelmsford County ground. He's going to be bowling to Rossington, who's got just a single to his name, and Rossington was a big swipe at that one to behind square on the onside, and it's just going to be the single. 14 without loss. We're in the 3rd over on BBC Essex and BBC Solent this evening. Glenn Speller, Dick Davis, Kevin James with you. David Jackman, our scorer, as well tonight. 166 for 7 was the Hampshire effort in the end, which constituted a good effort after a really slow start. Weatherly and Fuller, the chief run makers. Nisa into Elgar. Elgar comes down the wicket and flat bats that one away, just in front of square on the offside, but there'll only be the single. 15 without loss goes the score. Nisa again just kicking away where his front foot is landing. Might be a little bit of loose stuff down there. No Liam Dawson for Hampshire this evening, the slow left armour, a more than useful batter. Touch of illness, we understand, but they hope he'll be available for tomorrow night. Nisa comes into Rossington once again, and Rossington gets all of that and then some. That's got wings because it's flown out of the ground into the trees over the public stand. Second 6 of the innings, 21 without loss.
Now that is out of the ground, I think. And,
well, there is a very narrow walkway behind that stand.
Yes,
that's gone beyond there, isn't it?
I think so. Well, yes, because it probably landed on the roof of the covered area. So, oh well, perhaps they have got the ball back, unless the umpires carry one with them.
See the umpire on the radio. So yeah, they've obviously got the ball back very quickly. Yeah. So Nisa has been swung away for 6 by Rossington. His response is to be swung away for 6 by Rossington. This time behind square, and that one is out of the ground. 27 without loss, and the Australian's been hit for successive 6s.
And this is what Rossington does. He, oh, it has come back. Yeah, there's no mucking around with Rossington. He's there for this purpose, whether he's played for Middlesex or Northamptonshire or Essex. This is what he does, and the crowd love him for it.
Nisa, successive 6s. That won't do his moves any better. No. Into Rossington. Rossington swings that one away. Over long on for 4. A 1 bounce 4 this time. Umpires on the radio just checking, but I think it was clearly 4. And that is what is signalled. 31 without loss, the Essex score here. And Nisa's misery still isn't over.
No, it's not, is it?
Just a replay of that one. Yeah, it was quite a way inside the rope, actually. So 6-6-4. Nisa is in to Rossington. And Rossington hits that one high in the air. Should be taken by long off. And it is just tumbling back. It's a good catch, actually, because he went running back, lost sight of the ball, quickly turned round, set himself, and took a really, really good catch. 18 from 8 deliveries for Adam Rossington. Hampshire have a breakthrough, 31 for 1, which, coincidentally, 31 is the score at which Hampshire lost their first wicket as well.
It was indeed. Yes, a very good catch. I mean, it went steepling up. And the fielder had to run backwards and yeah, fell over as he took it, but yeah, really, really good catch. And theoretically, you look at those and you think, well, you know, they're professional cricketers, that's what they get paid to do. And if they do their job properly, they take it, but it's not as easy as they make it look.
He goes running back, but he doesn't sort of shuffle back, so he's always got the ball in sight. He sort of turns sideways on just to check he's got the flight of it, and then sets himself and faces the ball. So really well judged in the end, because he could have lost sight of that, and Rossington might have got away with it. But 6-6-4 off that over from Michael Nisa. Change of bowling now at this Sir Alistair Cook end. We're going to see John Turner. 31 for 1, the Essex score, pursuing 167 for victory.
Yep, John Turner, another one of these Hampshire bowlers, has 7 wickets to his name this season. Well, Nisa's now gone into the lead. He has 8 with the wicket of Rossington. So Turner, right arm over the wicket, moves in, bowls to Dean Elgar, who paddles that round the corner for a single. Beg his pardon, for. There again, I think it might have been a bit of a bottom half of the bat, but it was short boundary at fine leg in that part of the ground.
James Vince with the catch, incidentally, to help.
Oh, was it? Thank you. I was just going to look it up.
Good catch by the skipper, setting things up. Not the best of starts from Turner. Nice little short one on leg stump, which Elgar took 4 from.
Turner again, short again, and more or less the same treatment, except that this time it was squarer and it was cut off for a single. Fielder having to make quite a little ground to his left, and but at least Elgar got on top of the bounce, which both Hampshire openers didn't. So Essex may have learned something from their dismissals, as Michael Pepper just takes guard from umpire Ian Blackwell, formerly of Somerset and somewhere else, but I can't remember where. Surveys the field, see where the gaps are. And Turner's on his way. Pounds in, short of a length, just nudge that down to third man for a comfortable single, fielded more or less on the ring of discs.
It's the form man for Essex, Michael Pepper, this season, 7. He got a first ball duck against Gloucestershire on the opening night of the T20, then reverse swept for 7 against Somerset, but since then 101, 31, 23 and 51.
Turner into a superb straight drive. This version of the game, it's not all about slogging. That shot was worthy of a county championship game. It was just an elegant straight drive, slightly to well to the offside of straight, and from the moment it left the bat, it had 4 written all over it.
Yeah, sometimes you can look to do various things, but sometimes just standing still and playing the ball on its merit, which Dean Elgar did there, has the same results.
Yeah, Turner to Elgar. And nudges that. Well, no, it doesn't nudge it. Hits it with some considerable force, such that it doesn't allow the taking of a single down to fine leg. It was straight to him and with considerable pace on the delivery. So Essex are 41 for 1. We're coming up towards the end of the 4th over. And Turner is on his way. Bowls. And finishes up with only one hand on the bat eventually. Does Elgar. He plays that down to backward of square on the offside for another single, and he'll retain the strike. It's the end of the over, and after 4 overs, Essex are 42 for 1.
Just mentioning Michael Pepper's form, first ball duck and 7 in his first 2 innings in this competition, but since then he's averaging just over 51. That century and that half century in the last game against Sussex, and sandwiched in between that 31 against Glamorgan and 23 against Middlesex. Change of bowling for Hampshire at the Graham Gooch end. They're deciding to have a go with Chris Wood from that end, and his first ball is flayed away past point for 4 runs by Dean Elgar. Slightly aerial, he took a step outside leg stump, so he just had to reach for it slightly, but nevertheless got the result that it wanted, which was to go flying away to the boundary for 4 runs, 46 for 1 in the 5th over of 6 of the power play. Wood in again, and Elgar just plays straight down the wicket and comes scuttering through for a single, needs to hurry up. The throw in the end goes to Rossington's end, to Pepper's end rather, and he was safely home as well. I think the fielder chose the wrong end there, 47 for 1. Elgar was having to stretch.
He was. He's not a tall man either.
So 5 of the first 2 balls of this Chris Wood over, 5th of the innings. 167 is the target for Essex. BBC Solo and BBC Essex this evening, so a further 120 runs required. And the required run rate is just over 7.5. Current run rate for Essex is 11, so they're ahead of the game. Wood in and bowls to Pepper. Pepper angles that one away to the offside, just opened the face on it. Tumbling stop by Toby Albert, but not before Essex had got through for the single. 48 for 1. The DLS, the Duckworth Lewis, were there to be any rain around this evening's 34, so Essex are well ahead. Don't think there's going to be any weather around, if we're honest. Here's Wood again, left arm over into Elgar. Oh, and Elgar just tried to open the face of it and tickle it away down to deep third. Didn't get anything on it, and it thuds into the gloves of Ben McDermott. And there's no run. Elgar unbeaten on 27 from 18 deliveries so far, striking at 150. That will be enough to get the job done. There's Wood once again. Relatively short run that he has. In and bowls to Elgar, and Elgar heaves that one away. Doesn't get really too much on it, but it bisects mid-off and mid-on and drops on the edge of the circle, and they come through for the single. 49 for 1.
Yes, I think Lady Luck was smiling on him then, because he didn't control the shot at all. He could easily hold out to mid-off or even mid-on, I suppose, if he'd got a bit more bat on it, but it just landed between the two, albeit nearer mid-off.
Wood into the right-handed Pepper, Pepper didn't know where that had gone. I think he was trying to drop it into the onside. In the end, it's trickled out to the offside, and they've come through for a single. And it's a leg by. Just lost sight of that, I think, Pepper. It's the end of the over. 5 gone now, and the 50 is up for Essex. They are 50 for 1. A few words from Dick, and then Kevin will come back.
Thanks, Glenn, very much. Yeah, so Essex, well, certainly on target. They've only lost 1 wicket in getting almost to the half century. So they have 167 as their ultimate target. And they actually have got 50. I hadn't taken account of that last one. So they have reached the half century off, which is 1 over sooner than the visitors reached it. And it's going to be Turner, is this, continuing from this end?
No, Fuller.
Fuller moves in now, right arm over, short of a length, and again not timed. We've seen that all evening, not timed, and finishes up playing it out to mid-on for no addition to the score.
Dangerous partnership this at the moment for Hampshire. 150 Michael Pepper strikes at, career-wise in T20. Very dangerous player. I remember him back in 2022, and Critchley absolutely put Hampshire to the sword here.
Yes, Pepper already has a century to his name in this competition, as well as a 50, and Elgar has 2 50s, and that's worked away. There again, I don't think Pepper had much idea where that was. I think he was under the impression he'd hit it on the onside, and it squirted out square on the offside for a single. But the important thing is, it was along the deck, and therefore the single was there for the taking.
How much is Dean Elgar enjoying his T20 cricket with Essex? Because I tell you what, he has a career strike rate of 113, which is nothing.
No.
He's striking today at 147. This season, 145. What have you done to him?
Oh, well, that's a secret. It's like what's in Coca-Cola. As Fuller moves in and bowls, other such drinks available, of course. That's just played out backward square on the offside from 4, down to the sycamore tree, which I just noticed has been pruned. It was looking very unkempt earlier in the season. Very unkempt. There's obviously been what are they called, arboriculturalist or some such description coming into the ground. So yeah, good shot for 4 there.
Yeah, I think Hampshire are going to miss Liam Dawson here this evening.
Well, I think so, yes.
Wily old spinner.
He is, yes. Essex always have a lot of trouble with him, a lot of trouble. As Fuller moves in, bowls to Elgar. Elgar comes down the wicket, flat bats it for 4, more or less straight back past the bowler. Well, we've got Wimbledon next week or the week after, and that shot wouldn't be that out of place there. And yeah, Elgar, just looking at the replay, yes, just stands and delivers.
Backhand smash down the line.
A smash, yeah. Cross-court smash, yeah, on the forehand.
Wow, he's motoring along. He's striking at 171 now.
Yeah, and he's considered to be a traditional sort of stodgy opener. And another run to his account there as he just guides it down to third man. So, yeah, we were saying earlier on this evening, Dean Elgar's proved to be a superb signing for Essex. And at this moment, probably a better signing than they had anticipated, I would have thought. Because they knew he was going to, well, they thought he was going to take the Sir Alistair Cook role. But if it's not sacrilege and, you know, off with his head sort of thing, he's proving, you know, capable of playing in all formats.
I was going to say, Cook doesn't play T20 or didn't play T20, did he? He's giving you more. He's giving you much more.
Oh! Smashed hard at the fielder who drops it, but boy was that delivery motoring. That came out of the middle of Pepper's bat straight to the man at shortish extra cover, and he didn't hang on to it, but God dear, he did give that the kitchen sink and a bit more.
Well, it was about chest height. It was straight at him.
It was straight at him, but yeah, just couldn't hang on. So the end of the over, end of the power play, and Essex are 61 for 1 after the power play, which bears good comparison with the visitors who, if memory serves me right, were exactly 50 for 2.
Yeah, well, it's moments like that that can turn games. Pepper,
yes.
Dangerous player, as we know. Hampshire will know as well from 2 years ago, and his stats are right up there, and you can't afford to drop him. Doesn't matter how difficult it was. It was hit hard, but it was straight at Turner.
Yes, well, on form, these two are undoubtedly the major batsmen in this form of the game. They've got far more runs than anybody else.
Here's Brad Wheel into the attack then, and that's driven uppishly. One bounce to Vince, who throws the ball at the bowler's end. That would have been close. I think Pepper just got in the way of Brad Wheel, did he? Or Brad Wheel vice versa?
I think if no, we're not in a very good position, but I think if that had hit the stumps, then Pepper may well have been in
God, he was
big
out,
trouble.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wheel was backing away, which actually pushed Pepper wide.
I got the impression that really that Pepper had almost given up. You know, well, if the luck's in, it'll miss, and if my luck's not in, it hits the stumps, and I'm back going to the pavilion.
Well, he could have been out the last two balls, but it's Elgar to face. 62 for 1 in the 7th. Round the wicket is Wheel. Elgar drives on the up, places that out to deep cover, more than hits it hard. He moves on to 38 from 23, and Essex need a run rate required from here of just over 7.5, which on this small ground and with Elgar playing the way he is, you would think is not too difficult. 167 overall they need. Wheel into the right-hander Pepper. Comes in and bowls. Pepper works that up to mid-on along the ground. He's playing fairly safe, Pepper. I mean, apart from drilling that one to Turner in the last over, he's deliberately pushed singles.
Yes, he has.
He's winding him. He's getting himself ready.
Yes, like a caged lion.
Oh, yeah. 64 for 1. Elgar back on strike. 167 needed, as I say. No, it's to win. It's 103. Actually, the score, but the feed is wrong. That's pushed out on the offside by Elgar. That'll be a single. So I'm looking at the picture feed, and it's the target is 167. What am I saying? Of course.
Yeah.
I'll get it right in a minute. The actual to win is 102.
Run rate down to 7.65.
Yeah, that's right. 65 for 1. 2 balls left of the 7th over. Brad Wheel playing his first T20 game for a couple of years. Did play last year. First game this season. As Wheel comes in and bowls, and Pepper goes up in the air. Now that's gone right over mid-on, and that I think is out of the ground, just over the back fence. And I think there's some people in the garden there, actually. I can see some heads bobbling around.
Yes.
They've thrown it back already. It's nice of them.
Well, they probably caught it.
You just see them there, their little heads bobbling.
Yes,
over
I
the
can.
fence. Yeah, having a little barbecue in the garden, perhaps.
Yeah. Pint of refreshment in one hand and catch the ball in the other and throw it back. Very obliging.
Let's hope it didn't land in the barbecue. Here's Wheel bowls. Pepper edges down to 3rd. I think that'll be cut off. Can't quite see because of the crowd in front of us. Crowd is shouting something.
Probably better not to know.
Wood? Yeah, we don't know. There's a boo there somewhere. Maybe they thought Chris Wood got very dangerously close to the rope. Just watching the replay here.
Well, we can't quite see where the rope goes.
Even on the picture feed, we can't quite see.
No.
His feet were obviously close to the rope. 73 for 1, 7 overs gone.
Not that the spectators down there would be biased in any way, of course.
Of course not. They can't see either, I don't think. They're not that far in front of us.
No.
Anyway. They should be happy their side have done as well as they have so far.
They will indeed. So the score's moved on to 73 for 112 coming off that over. And we're going to see Benny Howell come into the attack.
Yeah. I suppose you could say that Benny Howell is the one spinner in the Hampshire attack. He's with his slow medium pace cutters and back of the hands and what have you.
Yeah, right arm round the wicket to the left-handed Elgar, who drives that out to long on, where it's fielded by Michael Neser. They go through for a single. 74 for 1, Pepper 14, Elgar 40 off 25. Yeah, what's that, rate of 160?
Dean Elgar Mark 2.
Yes. And that's driven hard down to... who is this in front of me? It's not on my list. Number 19. Oh, Middleton.
Fletcher Middleton, yeah.
Oh.
Making his T20 debut.
Ah, yes. And that's played out to long on again. for another single.
Made 18. Hampshire innings.
Fuller again. Over the wicket to the right-handed Pepper. Goes to the back foot, just nudges that into the onside. They'll be looking for 2. And they're coming back for 2 because the field was set deep. Good throw, hits the stumps, but Pepper had regained his ground. So, yeah, Essex are now enough ahead of the required rate that if they, they've pushed the fielders back, and because of that, then there's plenty of 2s for the taking if they just lay bat on the ball into the gaps. And there's acres of empty space on that onside before you get to the boundary fielders.
Yeah, if there's 2s hitting it towards the 30-yard circle, it's that side, isn't it?
Yes. As Howell moves in again. That's not a 2, that's not a 4, that is a 6, straight over the bowler's head. We can't see the part of the ground there because it's away to our left, obscured totally by the press box and all sorts of things. But it's obvious from the crowd's reaction and more importantly from the umpire's signal that it went for 6. Howell in again to Pepper. Pepper goes on the back foot, waits but again just plays it delicately on the onside. They look for 2. They are coming back for 2 and it's easily taken, and as soon as Elgar saw that with respect to the field it wasn't a very good throw to the bowler's end, you could see him almost deliberately slowing down. I'm not going to waste my effort if I don't need to. I can just coast into the crease at that end. So the end of the over, a good one for Essex, and who have moved on to 84 for 1.
Yeah, scoring it over 10 and over here, which is way more than they need, and they look fairly comfortable doing it as well, it has to be said.
Yeah, they're down to below 7 now.
Yeah, it's good partnership, came together when the score was 31, so they put on 55 in 5 overs, 10 and over. Benny Howell's first over going for 13 there. Hampshire got to find a way. They would normally turn to Liam Dawson. They haven't got that option. They've got no spinner option in the in tonight. And of course, when you see the way Harmer bowled, 4 overs, none for 17. Critchley, 3 overs, 2 for 20 with his leg spin. Probably do need a spinning option. They haven't got one. Fuller switches ends then. He's going to bowl to Dean Elgar, the left-hander. Fuller comes in, bowls. Elgar pulls that away on the leg side. There'll only be 1. It's Brad wheeled down at deep square leg. And the Essex total moves on to 87 for 1 in the 9th over. They need, from here, another 80. Struggling Hampshire here, has to be said. Good running, those 2s, weren't they? Yes. That's knowing the ground, isn't it? And knowing where wickets are cut in relation to the rest of the ground, and knowing where your 2s are.
Yep.
Here's Fuller bowls. It's cut away. 1 bounce down to Chris Wood at 3rd, just below us. Oh, they're running 2 here. Absolutely no way should that have been 2. It's good running.
It's superb running. It brings to mind the sort of running we used to see when James Foster batted with Brian Tenduscarter. They would turn 1s into the most unlikely of 2s, and these 2. And Elgar's, well, I mean, obviously by my standards, and dare I say it, by Kevin's, he's a young man, but not by professional cricketer standards. Probably.
89 for 1. Fuller comes in. Pepper drives hard through extra cover. That may have been half stopped by Benny Howell, but it doesn't matter. It's going for 4. That's a good shot. That's brilliantly timed on the up. Wow. Sounds like a good player in white ball cricket, Michael Pepper. Just 25 years of age. Drilled past Benny Howell, that one. I'm sure Benny Howell did get anything on that, to be honest. It was too quick.
Yes.
93 for 1. Pepper moves on to 31 from just 16 deliveries, and he wasn't motoring in the first 5 or 6.
No, he wasn't.
Here's Fuller, bowls, and Pepper drives in the air over mid-off, and that is 6, and that's hit the top of the stand, just to the right of the sight screen.
And that was what one might call, or what I would call, a proper cricket shot. It wasn't a slog across the line. It was a straight drive with a lot of bottom hand coming into it to give it elevation, and just sailed over the boundary. Super shot.
Was absolutely no answer to this Essex partnership at the moment. 99 for 1, and we're still in the ninth over. And runs needed from here are just 68.
So they now need exactly a run a ball according to our screen.
Hope it doesn't last that long the way
With
these
9
two
wickets
it
in
won't
hand.
last that long the way these two are playing. Pepper cuts it away, smashes it away through extra cover. Work to do for Brad Wheel, running round from cover, won't get there. And that is 4 more. Expensive over here from James Fuller. 99 for 1. And Pepper's now 37 from 17, and this Fuller over so far from 4 balls has gone for 13. Is that right? 5 balls?
17.
Yeah, of course, the 4 just now.
103.
So 103 for 1, yeah. Scoreboard can't keep up with this partnership. Here comes Fuller then. Last ball of this over. He'll be glad to get out of this one, I think. Short, wider off stump, and it's not called a wide. Maybe Pepper was just moving to the leg side a fraction. It looked very wide from this angle. Not called. Dot ball to end it. 103 for 1 off 9. And Essex need just 64.
Yes, at a rate now lower than 5.82 per over, with 9 wickets in hand. At the moment, Essex in a strong position, but we've all watched enough cricket of all versions to know that there can be twists long before we get to the tape. So we're going to see Benny Howell to continue from this, the Cook end, Sir Alistair Cook, and that's flailed out for I was looking at the fielder and about to say a 1, but then I thought, well, no, sometimes they turn those into 2s, but they hadn't on that occasion. It was still a 1. So Howell now bowls to the right-handed Pepper, and therefore goes over the wicket rather. And Peppers goes on to the back foot, pulls it out to deep mid-wicket for another single. There's still lots of 2s on the, I was going to say on the leg side to Pepper, now on the, well no, not so much on the offside, because there's a man posted at conventional mid-off, extra cover I mean. And that's worked away on the onside for a single. Essex can afford, they won't, but they could afford just to push a single every delivery now, and they'd reach the winning post.
Well, they've done the hard work, actually.
They have done the hard work, yes.
They just need to play, well,
yeah,
properly in T20 terms.
Pepper goes in the back foot, just lays bat on ball, and they only go through for a single. Almost get the impression that a few overs ago they'd have gone for 2, but maybe Elgar said, I think we'll stick to 1, Michael.
I'm 37 years old,
yes,
please, go easy on me.
Yes, quite. As Benny Howell pulls out of his approach first go, second tries again, and Dean Elgar playing a miss, flashing outside the off stump. 107 for 1, with 1 delivery of this over remaining, and Elgar pushes that out for a single and will retain the strike. 108 for 1, so that was a good over that from Howell. It only conceded 5. In fact, it was fewer than the number of runs per over that were required. And
well, we're halfway through the Essex innings, although it doesn't feel as though we're halfway through. It feels like we're going to finish well before the 20th over.
Young eagle of the match, who's won their own Vitality Blast shirt, is going to get a birthday present. It's a bit late, Charlie Davis. Charlie, come and join me. Congratulations. Did you have a good birthday last week?
Yeah, it was good.
How much better is it now you're getting this Essex shirt?
Yeah, much better.
I thought you'd say the right thing. There we go. There's your Essex shirt. Congratulations, Charlie Davis.
playing, you do suddenly notice them.
Yeah. So it's like that used to be like the England Test team, didn't it? You suddenly become a better player when you weren't in it. If they weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing.
Exactly. Chris Wood then to Dean Elgar, left armour to left-hander. Chris Wood from that far end as we look, and slapped away, half stopped at extra cover by Toby Albert, but they'll jog through for a single anyway. 109 for one at the start of the 11th, and Elgar is 46 now from 32 deliveries.
I mean, I referenced it just before I went that, you know, Michael Pepper got a first ball duck in his first T20 game this season, then reverse swept for 7 straight into the fielder's hands next up. Since then, 101, 31, 23, 51 and 43 not out. But of the 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 5 good innings he's had since that 7 at Somerset, 4 of them have come here.
He looks a man in good form and knows his game, kind of knows what he's doing. Here's Wood, bowls, Pepper goes for the reverse lap and misses. Haven't seen that shot from him.
I think he's better off hitting it straight.
Well, I was going to say, the way he's played so far, I don't quite know why he's playing that. I can understand why what he's thinking is because third man is up, that's Fletcher Middleton, so it doesn't take much of a bat to get it over the top, but he's been hitting it so well. And this ground isn't a big one. He should just trust himself. Here's Wood, bowls, and Pepper cuts that away to backward a point. There is a fielder down in the corner here. That's Toby Albert. Pepper moves on to 44. That's just from 23 deliveries, 110 for one. Essex need 57 to make it a 4th win in this competition this season.
So you talk about Dean Elgar, and he's taken you by surprise. He took many by surprise when he was named in the Essex T20 side right at the start of this campaign.
Here's Wood, short. Elgar pulls that away, it loops up in the air, short of cover, and they'll come through for a single. Well, not quite where he was aiming it.
But he did captain his franchise out in South Africa in the short format when the T20 stuff first started out in South Africa. He's made his 3rd highest score this season in T20 cricket for Essex when he got 77 against Somerset. But 77, 32, 14, 28, 54 and 47 not out shows you the value.
Oh. Here's Wood for short. Now he does go straight, and this could be caught at mid-off. Nisa is under it, and he holds on to it. I'm not sure it was a clean catch, but he's got it anyway. He has a smile as he walks back, and that is the end of Michael Pepper, who goes for a quite brilliant 44 from 24, and it's 111 for 2.
He has a wide smile because just from looking in the distance there, looked like as he slid to the ground, looked like there might have been just a little juggle and maybe a fumble that he thought the ball was going to roll away. He's just examining a couple of fingertips as well, as if to say that almost got out of my grasp. But in the end, it's a really good catch, and yeah, Pepper just probably 1 club short on that one. Good catch though. He was aiming long on and it spiralled away to long off. Yes, look, he drops it onto his leg and then picks it up before it rolls off onto the ground. So actually, in fairness to him, he almost made a mess of it, but really good reactions from Michael Nisa to pick it up before it rolled down his leg and onto the ground.
Yes, you can afford a smile like that. I think it would have been different had it rolled to ground, because Pepper was dropped on 2. Difficult one that was hit hard at Turner extra cover off Fuller, but it was fairly expensive. It's given the Essex innings momentum anyway. That partnership was worth 80.
Well, Jordan Cox's last outing for Essex was a first ball duck against Sussex last week.
Here's Wood then to Cox. Cox pushes that out to extra cover. Good stop from Benny Howe. Ending that over from Chris Wood. Wood's bowled 3 overs now, 1 for 20. Essex are 111 for 2. They need another 56. And there are a maximum of 9 overs left.
Yeah, so 56 from 54. Essex won't want the loss of Pepper to propel them to one of their rather too familiar mid-innings collapses. Just need to keep their heads here, just play some normal cricket, and they'll get home, and they'll get home with a little bit to spare as well. With Jordan Cox in, played so well this season in all formats for Essex. It was somewhat surprising to see him get out first ball last week, and I think he was surprised himself as well. And he's not a man who's used to or enjoys failure one iota.
He is a really good player. He's a terrific signing for you guys. It really is.
It was announced relatively early through last season that he would be joining. I think Essex probably had the sniff that Dan Lawrence would be off as John Turner runs away from us from this Sir Alistair Cook end. Lights in full effect now, and Elgar just drives majestically straight past the bowler and straight down to the boundary for 4 runs, 115 for 2, and that's a 50 for Dean Elgar, and that's his 3rd of the season in the T20 format for Essex. 2 of them have been in losing efforts. He hopes this one is going to get them over the line. Well batted, Dean Elgar, again.
It's a classy innings, isn't it? I mean, there's been a couple of fluff shots, but that's all. Just he struck it well, hasn't he?
Well, here's Turner again into the South African full delivery again. Elgar works that one into the onside. Only be the single there. 116 for 2. Well, he announced himself for Essex right at the start of the season with a century up at Nottinghamshire. So only what you would say failed in 1 game, and he was out for single figures twice against Somerset. Mind you, the rest of the Essex batting in that particular game didn't do great, and a duck in the T20 this season against Gloucestershire. Other than that, it's just been runs galore.
Oh, well, he's a class player, isn't he?
Even more of a bonus that he doesn't count as an overseas as well. Here is Turner into Cox, and Cox just tries to angle that one away on the offside, but won't pick anything up for it. 116 for 2, and I've got him for 3 years as well.
How does it work that he's not overseas?
He has a British passport.
Okay.
Neither his mum or his dad might be English. So that's how they've managed to do that. And got him for 3 years, and obviously picking up Jordan Cox, and then 3 years ago picking up Matt Critchley as well. Done some good business, Essex, down the years. So Turner comes in and bowls. Oh, Cox is beating for pace there. So that whistles through to McDermott behind the stumps. No run.
Good stuff from John Turner. He burst on the scene, John Turner, last year. Bowled really well, and his figures every game were economical. He's just found it a little tougher this year. Against Somerset, went for 62 off his 4 overs, the 3rd highest runs conceded ever in this competition by a Hampshire player.
Well, he's in bowling to Jordan Cox, short on. Cox tries to help that one round the corner, doesn't get anything on it. Through to McDermott once again. That's the 1 for the over, is the signal. But 3 dot balls now for John Turner. Good comeback after being struck for 4 off the first ball.
Yeah, he was under pressure, wasn't he, really? His first over went for a few as well. His first over went for 11. He actually dragged it back the last couple of balls of his first over.
51 from 49 balls required by Essex for victory. 167 is the target after Hampshire made 166 for 7. Turner in and bowls to Cox. So this time from the crease. Goes behind square on the offside. Cover runs around. Cuts off the 2. They come through for a single. 118 for 2. It's just a 6 from the over in the end from John Turner. None for 17 for him from his 2. Jordan Cox is off the mark. Elgar 52 not out. The men to go for Essex. Rossington caught by Vince in the deep of the bowling of Nisa for 18 from 8 balls, and then Pepper caught by Nisa eventually off the bowling of Wood for 44 from 24 balls. 117 for 2.
Yeah, Essex cruising this really after a really top start from Elgar mainly. Rossington's just starting to get going, almost like he got carried away, didn't he, really? But he flicked a couple good length deliveries from Nisa away on the leg side, got underneath his eventual demise. Good catch from Vince running back at mid-off. We've seen that a few times from him over the years. And we've got Nisa coming back for Hampshire at the far end, the Graham Gooch end. He's bowling to Cox. Cox drives into the covers, fielded by Howell.
Gloucestershire 114 for 7 after 18. Need another 26 runs to beat Glamorgan. Middlesex 74 for 4 with 10 overs to go. They need another 112 to beat Surrey. And Sussex made 201 for 7. Kent in reply with 9 overs to go and 97 for 2. Still need another 105 for victory down there at Hove.
Be a tough one as Nisa comes in. Cox plays that nicely through the covers. Ball goes quickly down to James Fuller in the deep, and Cox moves on to 2, and the Essex total 118 for 2.
It's a good comeback from Gloucestershire because they were 3 down with only 25 on the board at one point, so they might squeak over the line. Good tight finish coming up there in Cardiff. Gloucestershire very strong at home because of that surface they've got there at Bristol, but on their travels seem to struggle somewhat.
Tell what, David Payne bowled well against us. Ooh.
He bowled well against Essex as well. Yeah.
Gosh, he bowled well. That seems to be getting better and better as he gets older, David Payne. The left arm seamer. It's going to be Nisa then to Dean Elgar comes in and bowls. Elgar goes aerial over mid-off. Has he got enough on it? Not quite, but it's bounced short. It's just gone over extra cover and short of the running mid-off James Vince, who's running behind Toby Albert. And he's picked his spot perfectly there, Dean Elgar, although it wasn't aimed there.
It was almost like a little chip out of the bunker, that one, wasn't it? Just always sort of spinning away from Vince.
It was, wasn't it? Didn't quite get that right. Just opened himself out a little bit, trying to hit it wide of mid-off, and just came out of the nowhere near the middle of the bat. Here's Nisa to Cox then, and Cox drives. Again, that goes quickly out to Fuller. But again, here with the singles, it's all Essex really need to do. They don't need to do anything silly now. 120 for 2. They need just 47, and we are in the 13th over.
Well, we said something similar against Glamorgan here a couple of weeks ago, and heaven only knows what was going through the batters' minds and what they got between the ears, because it didn't seem that the instructions were getting out there, and wickets started falling all over the shop, and they almost threw it away.
That was the spinners coming on there, wasn't it?
It was,
Labuschagne and Mason Crane on loan from Hampshire.
Really.
Now, I think we've had an answer as to why that ball didn't go very far previously from Dean Elgar. He's probably got a crack in his bat. He's changed the bat now. Different bat in his hand as Nisa comes in again, and that's a full delivery. Nicely played by Elgar out square on the offside, fielded by Fletcher Middleton, but it's a single. Elgar moves on to 54, and it's 121 for 2.
Good to have someone like of his mentality out there, Dean Elgar. He said against the Glamorgan, the game against Glamorgan, he was annoyed that he got out and didn't see the team home, because he felt that sort of where the collapse came about, that he didn't stay there and anchor it. He certainly looks as though he's set for that this evening.
He's not a player that gives it away in any form. That's chipped away by Jordan Clocks just over the head of the Fletcher Middleton at mid-wicket. It won't have enough on it to go all the way to the boundary. And just little shots like that aren't quite going to the fielders tonight for Hampshire. Often happens when you're behind in the game. 122 for 2, 13 gone. Essex need 45.
Decent enough over there, only 5 singles from that over from Michael Nisa, 1 for 26 from his 3 now. The trouble is that Essex only need another 45 runs from 42 balls remaining. If they've got another 20 runs in the bank, then we would be looking at it being a tall order for Essex. As it is, they should get over the line with a little bit to spare here. They just play some normal cricket and play with their brains. Hampshire are going to have to strive for wickets now and try to come up with something, and Vince will have to go through his full repertoire and his full bowling locker. Benny Howell is going to come on from this Sir Alistair Cook end now. 122 for 2. He's going to be bowling to Jordan Cox, just sending long on out onto the fence just below us. Howell is in. Cox off the back foot, looks to cut that one away, but just hits the man at short extra cover. There's no run. It's a chilly evening now.
Yeah, it is actually, isn't it? First time we noticed it.
Howell in bowls, and Cox steps away to the leg side, pulls that one powerfully away. A tumbling stop by mid-wicket in the deep. Only the single accrued. 123 for 2.
Just feel they can just push it into that gap on the leg side, Jordan Cox, at any time he likes, really. There's no pressure now with the scoring rate.
Yeah, there's a single every time on the onside now for the left-handed Elgar, as Hal comes into it, and Elgar just drives up to long on, jogs through for the single. 124 for 2. 8 wickets in hand here, Essex, looking to get over the line before they make the short trip to Kent tomorrow.
It's just risk-free batting now, isn't it?
Should be. Here's Howell into Cox, slower ball, and Cox steps away to the leg side. Howell bowls it wide outside off stump, and Cox has to reach for it, but gets enough on it to pick up a rather ugly single. 125 for 2.
I suppose the only thing you could say is that Essex had a chance, really, of upping their run rate with what looks like to be a win. They just don't seem to be bothered. They seem to be just happy just to make sure they win this game. I
think they might be a bit wary. Here's Howell now into Elgar. Steps away and slaps that one up too long off, where Fletcher Middleton, the Hampshire debutant, tidies up. 126 for 2 now, the Essex score.
Yeah, maybe that Glamorgan game is, you know, maybe it's in the back of their minds. Let's just make sure rather than worry about the run rate.
Howell into Cox. And Cox swings it away and should pick up 4 here as he bisects mid-wicket and long on, and he does pick up 4. 130 for 2. First real shot of intent there from Jordan Cox, and he picks up the boundary. He goes to 10, 130 for 2, a further 37 runs required for victory here by Essex.
Well, that was right out the middle of the bat, wasn't it? Right in the corner, away to our right. One of the longer boundaries here. Fuller in that area, didn't bother moving. He was hit that well. So 37 needed by Essex, 6 overs left, less than a run a ball. And these two are playing just to make sure they get home rather than worrying about that run rate. Hampshire just have not got the variety in their attack. Nisa 3 overs 1 for 26, Wood 3 overs 1 for 20, Turner 2 overs none for 17, Fuller 2 overs none for 28. And Brad Wheels only bowled the 1 over for 12 so far. Here's Chris Wood back into the attack to bowl his last over. But it's all been a bit samey, isn't it, really? When you've got batters in, you need something a little different. No Dawson makes a big difference. Pulled away by Dean Elgar, into the gap on the leg side. Good diving stop from James Fuller down at deep mid-wicket. They'll come back for a second. And Elgar moves on to 58. And that's come off 40 deliveries. Still striking well, 145. It was a little higher than that earlier in his innings, but you just get the feel he's just feeling he's just settled down really to make sure that he closes this game out. Still way above his career strike rate of 113.
And the match here last week in a losing effort against Sussex when he made 54 as well, Dean Elgar.
Yeah. Here's Wood again then, left arm over. Comes in and bowls. Elgar cuts it away, front of point, down to the boundary. Moves on to 59, and the Essex total to 133 for 2 in the 15th here in Chelmsford.
Successive half centuries for him then. So he got his third highest score in this format of the game against Somerset in a losing effort again, made 77. So he's a decent foil for the rest of this Essex batting side.
Yeah. It's just made it easy for him tonight, isn't it? As Wood bowls, Cox cuts that away almost with his feet off the ground as it goes down to deep point. Misfielded by Fuller, they'll come back for a second. Bit of a bobble there in the outfield. 2 runs takes Jordan Cox on to 12, 135 for 2. Yeah, I mean, I think there was a lot of eyebrows raised when Elgar joined, because obviously Alistair Cook and what he'd done over the years and that, and you think, well, actually you've got a like-for-like replacement there. But actually you've got more than that, really, as that's hit out by Cox out to deep cover. And there'll be 2 more here, as again Fuller's got quite a lot of work to do in the deep. Cox moves on to 14. But you've got a man who's actually a very good T20 player, even though his stats maybe when he arrived didn't suggest that.
No, but he's found a role within the side, or Essex have seen a role that he can fulfil. Just mentioning Manish Labuschagne earlier on about the effort he put in here with Mason Crane to almost get Glamorgan over the line. If you get a chance to see his catch this evening for Glamorgan, it's something truly to behold.
Okay. Wood to Cox. And Cox hits that. Oh, that's going to be runs. It's 1 bounce for 4 towards mid-wicket. Didn't quite get underneath it, but he hit it flat and hard. Well, that's 141 for 2 now. Essex, they're coasting this. After that really good start given to them by Rossington and Elgar, and then Pepper with his bright and breezy 44 from 24. Here's Wood to Cox again. Slower ball outside the off stump. That's a wide. I tell you how we can tell it's a wide, because Ben McDermott, even though he moved smartly to his right, still had to dive to take it.
And Jordan Cox went walking across almost to the edge of the strip as well, almost as if to give further evidence to the umpire, saying, how wide was that exactly?
Just took that in front of second slip there, Ben McDermott. 141 for 2 then. 31 balls remain, 25 to win. That's way outside off stump again, and Cox struggles to reach that. Comes off the bottom edge of the bat and it trickles out on the offside. He'll keep the strike at the end of that Chris Wood over, and Wood's bowled out. 4 overs, 1 for 33.
It's almost as though Wood was scarred by being swung away for that 4 by Cox. He thought, I'll get this as wide, as far off stump as I possibly can, so it's not in the arc, and in the end he just went too far, and it looked a little bit ugly from him. But suddenly tomorrow night for Hampshire, Sussex brings on a whole deal of importance, doesn't it?
Who's the 2 that open the batting for them at the moment?
Ward and Hughes.
They don't hang around, do they?
Well, he took full toll of Aaron Beard, particularly here last week. Harrison Ward, he got 60 odd, and he hit 5 successive 4s at one point, and he was well backed up by Daniel Hughes, and then James Coles came in and gave it a biff as well. So yeah, they look like a side. We've been told by our colleague Adrian from BBC Sussex that they hadn't been, they sort of looked a bit in and out, didn't really seem to know their best team. Well, it all came together for them here last week, I can tell you. They looked a very good side.
I think they started third tonight, didn't they, in the table?
Actually, if I overstayed my welcome, I'll bring Dick in.
Oh, on the contrary. Here's a 6, I think, over mid-wicket. Start of a new over from John Turner. Jordan Cox smashing that short of a length delivery into the lower tier here at Chelmsford. Turner starts with the maximum off his third over, and Essex move on to 143 for 2 here. That was a good shot there from Jordan Cox, who moves on to 25. And that's off just 18 deliveries, I think. So, well, I can't read properly. 18 deliveries it is. 149 for 2 in the 16th. Dickie Davies alongside me as that's another pull shot. This will be 6 more. Just a little further to the right. The boundary a little bit bigger there in the corner. Well, that's another good shot from Cox. 31 from 19. The crowd starting to come along. I'm not sure they've been the most boisterous crowd I've heard here, Dickie, on a Thursday or a Friday evening. It's a good crowd. It's almost full. Hello.
Yes, it is. No, they're by their standards quite demure almost.
Yeah. I'm not sure it's been that exciting a game in a way. I don't know. It's a bit silly when there's been some decent amount of runs, but I don't know. 155 for 2. They might have wrapped soon when the Essex confirm a victory. There's 4 runs. Lovely shot through extra cover. Didn't really need to move his feet. It was full. Just hit through the line. And the ball's finding the middle of Cox's bat at the moment. He's 35 from 20 now. 159 for 2. And Essex very nearly home and dry.
Yes, 8 to go.
Good shot, Jordan Cox. Looks like he's just starting to locate the middle of the bat there. 3 fine shots off this over. 6-6-4 off Turner's over so far. Comes in again and bowls to Cox. Short. Cox goes for the pull shot. It loops up in the air. Can't quite get there. John Turner running towards mid-wicket. And that was nowhere near out the middle of the bat.
No, when your luck's in, then make the most of it.
There's been a few loopy shots tonight.
Yes, and
really?
they've all fallen in no man's land.
It goes like that.
Yes. No, I think I always try and look at games objectively. Essex will have deserved to win, but they have had a share of luck. What luck's been going, it's generally gone Essex's way. But even without it, I think they would have won tonight. They've looked very, very impressive.
They bowled well. They've certainly batted well. Elgar to face Turner. Elgar gets wrapped in the midriff there, trying to pull that away on the leg side. That's hurt.
He's being a very brave soldier, and
there'll be a very big bruise around the hip area later on. He's bent down now. No, that will have hurt. I'm not sure he's the sort of player that likes to show too much emotion when he's out there in the middle. He's certainly showing it at the moment. You don't want to get it on the bone, do you? That's the worst part, around the hip area. That'll be very painful indeed. I think we can safely say that there will be a bruise of some sort.
Yes.
Later on. 160 for 2 then. They need 7 to win. There's Turner. He's pulling away. I think somebody might have moved behind Turner as he ran in.
It's probably, yes, I suppose there was somebody moving, but it gives him a few more seconds to get his breath back. Oh dear.
Just give a little bit more time for that bruise to come out.
Yes, exactly.
The crowd are starting to find their voice. They realise that Essex, they've probably realised for a while that Essex were going to win this one, but they're very nearly over the line. Two blows will finish this off. Still 25 balls remaining as Turner comes in and bowls and hit hard. I thought he might have got a hand on that as the ball went into the stumps. I think otherwise Cox would have been out, but he didn't. Or maybe Cox was behind the line. I don't know, because the way, I'm not sure it was right out the middle of the bat of Dean Elgar's. It was hit back to John Turner, but maybe John Turner did get something on it, but Cox was still behind the line as it hit the stumps. Anyway, 7 to win, 24 balls remain, 160 for 2.
Yes, I mean, Essex are going to win this game, and they're going to win it comfortably, but they'll still want to win it as quickly as possible, because in the final analysis for going through the knockout stages, run rate can make the difference. particularly if you're in the sort of lower positions, third, fourth, or fifth.
Yeah. Well, it's always been tight, hasn't it?
It's always been tight,
We know
yes.
that.
So yeah, they want to get this done and dusted. Ideally, this coming over. As first delivery is played back to the bowler, who gets a hand to it. He does very well to get a hand to it, and it didn't stick. But of course, shot out threw out an optimistic left hand, and that's Nisa.
Yeah.
No, he did well.
Oh, he did. But again, you know, it's one of those that, you know, on another night they stick.
Yeah, as I say,
it's just been that sort of night, really.
It has. It's all gone Essex's way, but that's not the reason they're going to win.
No.
They're going to win because on the night they were the better side. Oh, and that's another one. Another example is he gets a top edge, which goes sailing over third man. Probably didn't bounce much before the boundary, but it went for one bounce four, and Essex just needed 4 more. And they will have recorded another victory. And we just have a look at this on the screen, so perhaps there is some doubt as to whether it went for 4 or 6. No, I think it's still 4. So 3 to win. 3 to win, and that's one of them as it's played out to extra cover. Well fielded, it has to be said, out there by Benny Howell. Did you have to say the crowd weren't so animated tonight? They seem to have heard you, I think.
Yeah, well, at least we now know there are people here.
Yes. Yes, it's not. Yeah, they haven't joined the Trappists. That's played out on the offside. 1 run accrues. Brings the scores level.
Yeah.
All the field will come in now to stop the single. It's fairly academic, obviously, but it's got to do it. Careful field setting by Vince, but he knows it's a lost cause now. We've seen some extraordinary turnarounds in cricket, but none quite as great as this. If Essex were not to get the 1 run they need off the remaining 3.2 deliveries. And there it is, over the top, and it goes for 4 runs over extra cover down to the sycamore tree. Essex win comfortably with 8 wickets in hand and just over 3 overs in hand as well.
19 balls, yeah.
So 19 deliveries, yeah. So it's been very much Essex's night. That is undeniable. And in just a moment we'll run through the Essex scorecard for you. But it was a convincing victory. So the not out batsman, what was that say, 60 to Elgar and 45.
Yeah.
45, 60 and 45. So Dean Elgar again quietens those who say he's not a T20 cricketer. And the 2 batsmen out were Rossington, when the score was 30, caught by James Vince off the bowling of Nisa for 18, and it had moved on. The second wicket partnership had added 80 before Michael Pepper holed out to Nisa off Wood for 44. Then Dean Elgar and Jordan Cox came together and scored the remaining runs for victory, with Dean Elgar 60 not out, a superb innings. And Essex fans have got used to this. I was going to say an out of character innings, but we realise it's not out of character at all. And he's just coming down in front of us to shake hands with his opposition. And Jordan Cox now at 45, another little cameo. Well, it's a bit more than a cameo. So Essex win handsomely by 8 wickets with, as Kevin said, 19 deliveries in hand. 19 deliveries, well, yes, to go, which means
Well, we're going to make our presentation for the Woodland Eagle of the match, the player of the match. There's a few candidates that had Willow in hand, but I think this man really deserves it for what you put in. Let's hear it. Our Woodland Eagle man of the match is Ben Allison. Ben, as I just said to you, what a difference a week makes.
Yeah, I think coming away from the game last week against Sussex, it was a tough loss. But then again, we've come back tonight, shown what we can do, and we've played some really good cricket. And hopefully that will be a good starting block for us to go again tomorrow night at Kent.
I mean, you think back, Sussex hadn't beaten us for a long time and they won. We hadn't beaten Hampshire here for a long time. So the psychological plus is huge from that win today.
No, absolutely. But I think if you look at the group as a whole, everyone's beating everyone. So, you know what, it's all about form in this competition. So hopefully that will get us somewhere, and, you know, at some point we can make an entrance back into finals day.
And for you personally, I mean, we know you're off to Worcestershire to get some red ball action, but to come in and do that, get those 3 vital, valuable wickets, plus the catch, I think it was Mr. Vince, wasn't it? So that was huge. I mean, you've got to be hugely satisfied with your performance today.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think not playing for 2 games is sort of made me a bit hungry to go again. And Mickey and Maga have said to me in the change room before the game last week against Sussex, you know, this is my opportunity to try and take it, and hopefully, yeah, hopefully I've shown that here.
You certainly have. Let's get our representatives from Woodland Group in. Guys, come in. Cara's got the trophy. It's Cara's birthday tomorrow. Just saying. So congratulations, our Woodland Group player of the match, Ben Allison. We've got our Woodland Group young eagle of the match. Charlie Davis is going to get his shirt signed by Ben as well. So congratulations to Ben, congratulations to Charlie, he was 12 last week, Cara's 21 tomorrow, happy birthday to you. Don't forget our next match in the Vitality Blast is against Somerset on the 5th of July. Final tickets are available now, but please be quick.